Part 69. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 693. Chapter 675, Advance to the Middle Level, the Divine Power of Spiritual Treasures. Without the support of the palace treasure trees, Su Junming needed to restructure the former library pavilion and spirit beast garden. But this didn't bother him. He opened up the Tianhui sacred mountain obtained from the Shushan world into a cave, redivided different areas, and put Chongshan residence at the core, and everything was solved. The Heavenly God Mountain is a sacred mountain and a cave. This is the name of this place from now on. Looking at the vast cave world that is nearly 120,000 miles in diameter, Su Junming nodded with satisfaction and returned to Tiangong Hall. The Tiangong Divine Furnace standing in the center of the hall remains the same as before. It still has a lotus cap, 2 dragon ears, a huge belly embossed with cloud and thunder patterns, Ilong patterns, and innate divine inscriptions, and 3 bronze feet as thick as courtyard pillars with embossed red bird patterns. In the huge air windows surrounding the furnace body and arranged according to the Bagua directions, you can see the gold, black, purple and 3-color fairy fire burning quietly inside. The golden dry sky spiritual fire is explosive, scorching hot, and extremely masculine. The black kunyan spiritual fire is feminine, endless, and moisturizes things silently. Purple tushita is purple fire, the fire nature is harmonious with yin and yang, neutral, gentle and impartial. As the Tiangong Divine Furnace advanced to the middle grade innate spiritual treasure, the 24 innate divine prohibitions gave it more tyrannical power. Not only is the furnace body harder, the 3 innate spiritual fires inside are also hundreds of times more powerful than before. If he were not the master of the divine furnace, his spiritual consciousness would be incinerated as soon as it touched the spiritual fire. Looking at the heavenly works divine furnace that was hundreds of feet tall and blazing in front of him, Su Junming thought for a moment, stretched out his hand, and a ball of golden red blood essence that was hotter than the sun, extremely rich in essence, and hundreds of feet in diameter flew out instantly. This mass of Zhulang clan's great witch essence and blood, only 1% of it, helped him physically transcend the realm of warrior general in just 100 years. Let his disciples Sun Qinzhong, Ye Tianyun and Wang Chao make rapid progress. The former has reached the realm of top-grade generals, and the latter 2 are also middle-grade generals. Su Junming couldn't guess how strong the great witches were, but the master of this group of essence and blood, the great witches of the Zhulang clan, was definitely among the top ones. After staring at the blood essence for a moment, Su Junming waved his hand, and the 1 UN furnace among the 13 lotus flowers on the top of the furnace opened. After the great witch essence and blood flew into it, it slowly sank into the divine furnace. Under his control, the kunyan spiritual fire surrounded him silently. After a moment of induction, Su Junming's face showed joy. Sure enough, it's faster. The blood of the great witch essence contains immeasurable essence, but because of the unique cultivation techniques of the witch clan, it also contains unimaginable earthly turbidity. If you want to use it, you must first refine the turbid energy in it. In the past, it would take Su Junming 3 years to refine the turbid earth energy in a small amount of blood essence the size of a fingernail. Now, as the Tiangong Divine Furnace has advanced to the middle level, it has surpassed his 3 years of training in just a moment. The efficiency was so high that he was pleasantly surprised. It is conceivable that when he refines the Emperor's Pill again, the efficiency and success rate will be higher. After leaving a clone to guard the sacred furnace and cultivating the essence and blood of the Great Witch, Su Junming came to the back with strong expectations in his heart. As soon as I entered the backyard, I saw the 9-acre pond formed by the creation spirit pond, covered with clouds and fog, blooming in colorful colors in the sunshine. What a rich spiritual energy! Compared with before, the concentration of spiritual energy now has increased by at least nearly 100 times. Of course, the most surprising thing is not the spiritual energy, but the many elixirs that Su Junming planted in the creation spiritual pond and the central spiritual island. As soon as I stepped forward, I passed through the white mist transformed by spiritual energy, and a pond full of lotus flowers came into view. The blue lotus of creation, the golden Bodhi lotus, the red karma red lotus, the black and white albizia julabrissin, the white innate white lotus, and the green yaokai jade lotus. Lotus flowers of various colors complement each other, and the infinite spiritual light blooms with divine brilliance. This time the creation spirit pool advanced to the middle level, and they also received great fortune. Not only has the quantity increased, but the quality has also improved a lot. Especially the 100,000-year-old albizia julabrissin. The black and white lotuses as big as wheels bloom with an inexplicable aura. This is an advanced step. This albizia julabrissinus was originally a top-grade immortal root, but now it has advanced to become a Tai immortal seed. It is also the most precious of all Su Junming's spiritual roots and spiritual herbs. Except for the 7-star red fruit, the 3-color spiritual peach, the innate white plum and the karmic red lotus, no one can compare with it. Looking around at other lotuses, there are 3 more red lotus flowers surrounding the karma red lotus, which exude this innate charm, similar to the innate white lotus not far away. Obviously they are all innate spiritual beings. As for the remaining lotus flowers, the quality has improved a lot, but if you want to go further and accumulate medicinal power to advance, there is still a long way to go. However, the first golden Bodhi lotus he obtained showed hope. Of course, if it is nurtured by the creation spirit pool for several hundred more years, the spiritual roots here will advance. Su Junming has deeply understood the wonder of the creation of spiritual treasures over the years. In addition to various spiritual lotuses, the 9-aperture divine stone in the middle also received great benefits. Most of the innate Taishi's fundamental energy of creation, which had been consumed by Tai Zhenjun and Su Junming, has now recovered somewhat. Although it is still far from recreating an innate god. But it also reduces the effort accumulated over thousands of years. If there is another 100 years of accumulation, it will be almost the same. After all, the creation spirit pool has been upgraded to the 24 innate divine forbidden creation spirit treasures. In terms of grade, it is 1 level higher than the 9-aperture divine stone. If the above is supplemented, the efficiency will certainly not be the same. He took a step forward and arrived at the creation spirit island in the middle. If the current creation spirit pool is a supplement to the 9-aperture divine stone, then it is a dimension-reducing blow to the elixirs below the immortal root on the spirit island. They were originally just soul-level spiritual grass and spiritual roots, but now, with the support of more abundant creation spiritual energy, they have shown signs of improvement in quality. If there were another 100 years, it would be difficult for Su Junming to see any elixir that was not an immortal root. Follow the flat stone road and come to a piece of flat land. Here, a 3-foot-tall green bamboo, as thick as an adult's thigh, green as a jade carving, blooms with the aura of a majestic green wood, showing its vigorous vitality. Taishi shook the light of the fairy bamboo. At that time, the old man Kazu, one of the 2 elders of the great wilderness, used a piece of bamboo root to take Lulu away from him. Over the years, this top immortal root has grown. Moreover, affected by the advancement of the creation spirit pond, 3 or 4 bamboo shoots have grown next to it. I believe that it won't take long for this place to become a lush bamboo forest comparable to the red flame spirit bamboo next to it. If for thousands of more years, he would be nurtured by the aura of creation, continue to transform and return to his ancestors, and his quality would continue to improve, it would not be difficult to be promoted to a higher level Tai immortal root. Suddenly, a dazzling white light interrupted Su Junming's leisurely mood. Turning his head to look, he recognized the direction of the light and understood it instantly. Another gourd is ripe. Taking a step forward, we came to the bottom of a white cliff. The giant gourd vine clinging to the 100-foot cliff was once shrouded in a brilliant blue light. Now it is all covered by a layer of extremely rich yet sharp white brilliance. Su Junming easily felt the aura of the Zhengjin Wei. Looking at the source of the spiritual light, under the many gourd leaves, there is a 3-foot-sized white gourd. Su Junming waved, and the gourd swung twice before flying into his hand. The huge body has also become more than a foot, just enough to hold it. The white gourd skin has the same upper and lower spaces as the earlier mature red cloud gourd and Wutu gourd. However, the red cloud gourd belongs to fire and the Wutu gourd belongs to earth. This white gourd is indeed gold. Born from the same root, it also has 2 magical powers. One is hard and one is soft, one is yin and one is yang. There are 6 chains in the space above, which are suitable for capturing enemies, locking demons, and capturing demons and trapped gods. There is a handleless long sword in the space below. It is full of sword energy and extremely sharp. It is not inferior to the purple and green swords. Once it is released, it will definitely kill everyone and leave nothing behind. Just call it Golden Sword Gourd. Brushing it with his right hand, the 4-character divine pattern appeared in the center of the bottom of the gourd. After putting away the gourd, Su Junming's consciousness soaked into the gourd vine. Feel it in silence for a moment. Like other spiritual roots and spiritual grasses around it, it is also silently absorbing the spiritual energy of creation derived from the spiritual pool of creation. Although the improvement is not as fast as those spiritual roots of the soul level, the quality is also slowly improving. Although I don't know when it will transform into the Tai immortal seed, the quality of the next 4 gourds is definitely better than the first 3. Just as he was about to continue checking out the other top quality immortal roots cultivated on Creation Spirit Island, a sudden call came along the human soul divine gate and entered the sea of consciousness. Staying in the Shushan world, the clone in the middle of Chongshan behind the central peak of Kikshuan Cliff in Chang'an Cave in Chongshan instantly opened his eyes. With a flick of his finger, the seal on it was removed. The Holy Mother of the Golden Needle, who has reached the middle stage of Earth Immortal, stepped in. Disciple meets his mentor. No need to be polite, just get up. Yes. What brought you here? Reporting to my mentor, the great tree god lord, the son of the Qing emperor at the top of the Wuwending Ridge in the barren mountains of the East China Sea, seeks an audience. The giant wood god, there was a hint of curiosity in his eyes. What did he say? It's about the spiritual world, I didn't say much else. After thinking for a moment, he nodded. You go and bring him in. Disciple, obey. Not long after Our Lady of the Golden Needle left, she walked in with a tall and thin young man wearing a navy blue robe and holding a wooden staff. When he came to the atrium, he looked at the tall Taoist Gao who was sitting cross-legged but could not see any traces of cultivation. For a moment, all kinds of rumors and achievements about the opponent flashed through his mind. The giant tree god took a deep breath and bowed to the end. Zhao Wuji, meet Senior Chongshan. In the world of spiritual practice, those who have mastered are always put first, and the giant tree god consciously lowered his seniority. Sit down. Su Junming said calmly. After saying thank you, the giant tree god Zhao Wuji sat down with his legs bent. A cloud of air suddenly emerged from the ground and turned into a lotus, holding his body firmly. A touch of warmth came from underneath the body, and the warm feeling was extremely comfortable. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 694. Su Junming patted the green gourd on his waist, and with a faint aura, a tea table carved from an old tree root appeared in front of him. After completing the process of making tea, brewing tea, and washing tea in a smooth manner, he poured a cup and placed it on the magic cup. Go to Zhao Wuji. At the same time, I also gave a cup to Our Lady of the Golden Needle. He reached out and took the tea cup. Thank you, Senior. Su Junming smiled lightly. Please. Please. After being polite, he picked up the teacup and looked at it briefly for a moment. The open blue and white teacup with entwined branches is a magic weapon made of warm jade. The 8 legal prohibitions have almost tapped the potential of this warm jade to the extreme. A small thing can make a big difference, but looking at the warm jade teacup, it is clear that Su Junming, the true king of Chongshan, is as proficient in weapon refining as the legend says. Because of the function of the teacup, the fragrance of the tea does not dissipate, and it can also continuously gather spiritual energy to ensure the taste of the tea. He put it to his mouth and took a sip. At first it was only slightly bitter, but after taking it, it instantly turned into a mellow tea aroma, and at the same time a strong spiritual energy spread in the stomach. The spirit was also lifted, and the mind became clearer instantly. Good tea. The giant wood god Zhao Wuji praised. I was lucky enough to drink this kind of immortal root spirit seed a few times when I was still in the Lingkong immortal realm. I didn't expect to drink it again in this remote place in the lower world. Su Junming could naturally hear the underlying meaning behind his words. But he really wanted to know the news about the Lingkong immortal realm from the other party's mouth. My disciple said that you came to visit because of matters related to the Lingkong immortal realm. I wonder what the matter is. Before we talk about the spiritual world, I dare to ask you this. Zhao Wuji's tone became more solemn. Senior, are you from other worlds? Why do you ask? Su Junming looked calm. Although the world of Shushan is large, there are some ascetic monks who have not been born for a long time and are dedicated to practice, but there is absolutely no sect that is dedicated to practice and has never been born before becoming an immortal. Furthermore, Chongshan Academy suddenly appeared in the practice world a century ago. There was no news about it before. This makes people speculate about the origin of the senior. Facing his concerned gaze, Su Junming smiled faintly. Maybe we came from the spiritual world. Impossible. Unless they have no choice, who would go from a blessed place of cultivation like the Lingkong immortal world to a remote place in the lower world? Maybe we are trying to avoid our enemies, Su Junming said. With the strength of the Chongshan lineage, being able to force seniors and others to leave the Lingkong immortal realm must be a major event that shakes the entire cultivation world, but I have never heard of it. Su Junming nodded slowly. It seems that you are still connected with the Lingkong immortal world. Certainly. Zhao Wuji did not hesitate. After taking a deep look at him, Su Junming did not hold back anymore, considering the strength he now possessed. From what you say, there seem to be many ascendants from other worlds in the Lingkong immortal world. Zhao Wuji's eyes lit up and he said quickly. Of course. In fact, the name Lingkong immortal realm was given by the practitioners in the lower realm. The local monks in Lingkong immortal realm all call their world Chixian Shenzhou. Su Junming nodded and said, you are known as the son of Qing Emperor, and you must be a native of Qi County Shenzhou. To be honest, senior, that's right. My father is Wanyan Zongfu, the current lord of the Eastern Blue Emperor immortal domain, and I am his 9th son. Oh? With such a background, how come you are in this Shushan world? Su Junming asked curiously. First, let me tell you about the layout of China in Qi County. After listening to my seniors, you will understand. Su Junming nodded. After Zhao Wuji organized his language. There are many Shenzhou sects in Qi County, and there are countless strong ones, but the 5 immortal realms, 3 mountains, and 4 seas are the most powerful. They are the Yellow Emperor Immortal Territory, the Green Emperor Immortal Territory, the White Emperor Immortal Territory, the Black Emperor Immortal Territory and the Red Emperor Immortal Territory, East, West, South, North, the 4 Sea Clan forces, as well as Kongming Immortal Island, Penglai Immortal Island and Luofu Immortal Island. The Yellow Emperor's Immortal Realm is the largest, spanning 56 million miles across, and occupies the essence of the entire Qi County China. It is bustling with people, rich in resources, and has countless powerful people. The Qing Emperor's immortal domain is adjacent to the East China Sea and stretches 34 million miles across. It occupies the eastern part of Qi County's Shenzhou province. Although most of the area is extremely cold, the population density is second only to the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain. The Beatty Immortal Realm is located on the shores of the West Sea, spanning 28 million miles in length, and occupies the westernmost part of China's Qi County. Most of the area is desert, with only a few oases and small plains populated by people. Its strength is inferior to other immortal realms. A lot of the Black Emperor's immortal territory is adjacent to the North Sea and spans 41 million miles. It is located between the Green Emperor's immortal territory and the White Emperor's immortal territory. It borders the Yellow Emperor's immortal territory to the south. It is extremely cold in the north. In the south, there is Chixian Shenzhou's largest grassland, which is also where most people gather. Land. The Scarlet Emperor's immortal territory is adjacent to the South China Sea and spans 32 million miles. It is adjacent to the Yellow Emperor's immortal territory in the back. The territory is hot, humid, and mountainous. Its population is second only to the Yellow Emperor's and Green Emperor's immortal territories. The four seas surround Chixian Shenzhou, and the four immortal realms surround the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain. Except for the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain and the White Emperor's immortal domain, they are mainly human races. The Black Emperor's and the Green Emperor's immortal domain are both a mixture of humans and demons. However, the Green Emperor's immortal domain is a mixture of humans and demons. The demon clan occupies a dominant position, while the Black Emperor immortal domain is divided equally between humans and demons. But the difference is that although the Black Emperor immortal domain is called the immortal domain, it is actually the world of the devil. The Scarlet Emperor immortal domain is dominated by the Witch clan. Both are the human race's immortal realms. The Yellow Emperor's immortal domain is dominated by Taoism and is supplemented by Buddhism. The White Emperor's immortal domain is just the opposite. The four seas are ruled by dragons, while the three fairy islands are free to travel between humans, demons, witches, Buddhists, Taoists, and demons. They are regarded as holy places for casual cultivators. After listening to this, Su Junming finally had a general understanding of Chixian China. Since you are the son of Emperor Qing, why are you not named Wanyan, but Zhao? The Wanyan clan is not only the royal family of the Dajin dynasty in the Qingdi immortal realm, but also the third-generation Qingdi of Chixian Shenzhou. Moreover, they have the bloodline of Kailan, and they believe that they have the ability and responsibility to control all beasts. Although I am the son of the Qing Emperor, my mother is indeed a maidservant of the princess of the Song dynasty under the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain. Although I am a male, I am not worthy of the name Wanyan. I just take my mother's surname as Zhao. Zhao Wuji's tone was calm, and there was no emotion or anger in his expression. However, if you apply yourself to others, if you are treated with such contempt, your heart must be filled with anger, and you long for one day to have a Diaozi counterattack style vindication, so that all those who despised you in the past will crawl at your feet. But compared to the grievances and hatreds in the inner courtyard of the palace that Zhao Wuji experienced, he was more curious about another thing. Great Song Dynasty? There was also a Great Song Dynasty in Chixian Shenzhou. Zhao Wuji nodded. The Song dynasty ruled hundreds of millions of people in the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain, and the royal family Zhao is also one of the most promising forces to seize the throne of the next Yellow Emperor. The Great Song, the Great Jin, the mortal dynasty that ruled the Black Emperor's immortal domain was the Great Liao. Zhao Wuji nodded and said, the people who rule the White Emperor's immortal realm are Daxia, but most people call them Zixia. The people who rule the Red Emperor's immortal realm are Nanzao. Unlike the human dynasties in the Shushan world that do not practice cultivation, almost all the rulers and officials of the dynasty in Chixian Shenzhou are cultivators. But the five great titles of Qing Emperor, Black Emperor, Red Emperor, Yellow Emperor, and White Emperor are indeed given priority to those who are able. Whoever has the highest cultivation level will be able to enjoy the throne of the emperor for 3,000 years. 3,000 years. Su Junming raised his eyebrows. The lifespan of the Golden Immortal is as long as 100,000 years. Although 3,000 years is long, it is very short compared to the long life of the Golden Immortal. The positions of the 5 great emperors are extremely valuable. If you can occupy them, you will be able to gain the qi and fortune of Qi County Shenzhou, and your cultivation will be further improved. And those who can overpower the heroes and occupy the throne are basically the top masters of the Golden Immortal or even the perfection. 3,000 years is enough for them to take the final step, advance to the Tai realm, and ascend to the upper realm. Ascend to the upper realm. Su Junming's eyes lit up instantly, and he looked a little excited. That's right. Golden Immortal is not the end of cultivation. Going up is the Tai realm. Therefore, according to old legend, Tai realm is also divided into 4 realms: Heavenly Immortal, True Immortal, Xianxian and Golden Immortal. As for the specifics, I will tell you I no longer know. Where is the upper world? I don't know. All the monks who can survive the catastrophe have received immortal light and taken them to a more powerful world to practice. But what kind of world is it specifically? What are the humanities and customs like? But no one knows. Hearing this, Su Junming felt a little more excited and full of expectations. The way up is finally clear. Tai realm. And there is a more powerful world. He took a breath, calmed down the unnecessary thoughts in his heart, and looked directly at Zhao Wuji. You came to my door and specifically told me this. I guess you have something to ask for, right? Zhao Wuji instantly fell to his knees. I hope to become a disciple of my senior and listen to his teachings. A trace of surprise flashed across Su Junming's eyes. Why? Since you are from China, Qi County, and you are the son of Qing Emperor, it is not difficult to become a famous teacher. On the contrary, in Xixian Shenzhou, no sect is willing to take me in at the cost of offending the Wanyan clan and the Qing Emperor. Looking at the calm expression of the Taoist opposite him from the corner of his eye, Zhao Wuji gritted his teeth. During the competition held every year among the younger disciples of the Wanyan family, I seriously injured Wanyan Yunduo, the Qing Emperor's favorite princess. I was demoted to the Shushan world by the Qing Emperor's order and will never be allowed to return. Strictly speaking, Wanyan Yunduo is also your half-brother and sister. Why did you want to seriously injure her? There was a hint of hatred in Zhao Wuji's eyes. She insulted my mother and destroyed the only relic left by her old man to me. I was young and energetic at the time, so I couldn't hold it back and broke her danshan. You want revenge? Yes. I want to defeat Wanyan Zongfu and make him kneel in front of my mother's grave, kowtow, and admit his mistake. The tone was decisive and firm. Do you think I can teach you? Zhao Wuji nodded affirmatively. I have been in the Shushan world for nearly 1,000 years, and my senior is the only strong man who can suppress the demon ancestor of Taicheng Mountain and sweep across the Landuo Temple. Moreover, the direct disciples of Chongshan Academy have made rapid progress in cultivation in the past 60 years, and have accumulated thousands of years of experience in Ime. The faction is under me, which shows the merits of the teachings of my seniors. The Chongshan lineage is a great opportunity that the younger generation has waited for thousands of years to get. The disciple is willing to accept the test of the human soul divine section. If he can pass it, he will also ask the senior to take him under the sect and teach him. Although this junior has private thoughts, no matter what happens in the future, he will definitely tie a grass ring to repay the teacher's great kindness. Su Junming looked at Zhao Wuji, who was kneeling in front of him. The cultivation level of the late true immortal is also top-notch in the Shushan world. The qualifications and understanding must be excellent. You are really a big trouble. A year ago, my mentor was able to establish Chongshan Academy without fear of Ime and preach to the world. His majestic spirit is admirable. I believe that when I go to the Lingkong immortal realm in the future, I will definitely open another section. I am willing to do my best. You are quite clever. Anyway, I will give you a chance. Golden Needle. The disciple is here. Our Lady of the Golden Needle quickly responded. Take him to Jinding Peak. Disciple, please. Fellow Taoist Zhao, please. Zhao Wuji had a happy face and bowed to salute. Disciple, thank you teacher for your success. Don't be anxious. When you can pass the test of the human soul gate, it won't be too late to call master. Zhao Wuji nodded and followed Our Lady of the Golden Needle out. Looking at the two people leaving, Su Junming had a hint of thought on his face. He originally planned to occupy Chixian Shenzhou's destiny, so he didn't care about offending the Wanyan clan and Qingdi. The key depends on whether this giant wood god can pass the test of the human soul god gate. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 695. Chapter 677, Rejecting the God King, the six immortals come to the Shushan realm. 7 days later, the giant wood god Zhao Wuji walked out of the human soul door with a look of reluctance. Our Lady of the Golden Needle took a few steps forward. Fellow Taoist Zhao, Master said that you have no connection with our Chongshan Academy, but in order to thank you for telling him about the Lingkong Immortal Realm, I specifically asked me to hand over this golden immortal secret book, the Green Emperor's Sutra of Immortality, to you. Zhao Wuji took it and took a look. It is indeed a Mudeo Sutra that can be cultivated to the golden immortal realm. There was a hint of gratitude on his face. Thank you, true Lord, for the gift of the law. I'll send fellow Taoist out. Wait a moment, friend Taoist, I also want to see the true Lord. Our Lady of Golden Needles shook her head. My team is about to fight with Ime. Master has already gone to Ime. I have key information about Ime Patriarch Shinmei Genren in the upper realm. I want to report it to Zhenjun. I also ask fellow Taoists to convey it to you. The Holy Mother of the Golden Needle was moved in her heart, but remembering Master's explanation, she still shook her head and said, Fellow Taoist, please forgive me. It's not that I don't want to convey it to you. In fact, my teacher specifically told me when he left that the fight was of great importance and he had to personally plan it. No one can be disturbed. Zhao Wuji was unwilling to give up. Just as he was about to continue, he was interrupted by Our Lady of the Golden Needle. Fellow Taoist, please. A flash of anger flashed in his eyes, and he subconsciously clenched the jade slip in his hand. After struggling for a moment, he let go. Finally, he glanced at the central peak filled with fairy energy and blooming spiritual light. He suddenly turned around and left Chang'an Cave in Chongshan Mountain accompanied by the Golden Needle Virgin. Afterwards, Our Lady of the Golden Needle returned to Chongshan residence in the back mountain of Central Peak. Disciple pays homage to Master. People sent him away. Yes. But he said he has key information about Ime that he wants to tell Master. He waved his hand to interrupt her. I understand. To us, the Ime incident is just a scabies disease. No matter how important his information is, I don't want to know. Disciple, I obey. After a slight hesitation, Master, the giant wood god has excellent qualifications and understanding. Why doesn't Master accept him as a registered disciple? In this way, we can also strengthen the prestige of our Chongshan lineage in the Shushan world. When we go to the Lingkong immortal world in the future, having someone who is familiar with this world to help us will make it easier for our Chongshan lineage to open up in the Lingkong immortal world. When I accept a disciple, I look at the character of mind, not the aptitude and understanding. Although the giant wood god has excellent aptitude and understanding, his character is arrogant, full of hatred, and too self-interested. He is not a good talent that our Chongshan Academy needs. Do you understand? The Holy Mother of the Golden Needle was shocked and quickly bowed to salute. Disciple understands, if you accept a disciple in the future, you must be careful. Su Junming nodded slightly, spread out his left palm, and flew a porcelain bottle towards Our Lady of the Golden Needle. There are 2 Remenya pills that I refined inside. I will give them to you today. Disciple, thank you teacher. Our Lady of the Golden Needle is beaming with joy. Although Dai Huang Dan is not as good as Guangcheng Jindan, it can still supplement hundreds of years of hard work. With his current Taoist realm, after taking it, he will be able to advance to the late stage of Earth Immortal. By the way, Master. Just now, Senior Luokan came again. Su Junming showed a hint of headache on his face. Since he suppressed the Buddhist monks such as Zun Sheng, Tian Meng, and Bai Mei, monk Liao Chen, an old friend who has been with him for many years, has repeatedly come to plead for mercy, hoping that he can let Zun Sheng and others go. Although he greatly admired Chen, an ascetic who was truly compassionate and dedicated to asceticism. The friendship between the 2 sides is very deep. But when it comes to major matters of right and wrong, personal feelings cannot affect the future of the sect. If we let Zun Sheng, Tian Meng, Bai Mei, and others go, it would be like letting the tiger go back to the mountain, which would add countless difficulties to the development of Chongshan Academy. Wise men do not do this. Therefore, these days, he has refused to see monk Liao Chen. Where is he? He's sitting cross-legged at the entrance of the academy. It seems he doesn't intend to leave. Speaking of this person, Our Lady of the Golden Needle also had a headache. Compared with fighting and killing, this kind of entanglement is the most difficult to resist. Let him be there. We will wait until we eradicate Ime. Disciple, obey. Anything else? Our Lady of Golden Needles shook her head. Go down. Su Junming waved his hand. Disciple resigns. Seeing her back disappear, Su Junming withdrew his gaze. Now he has more than a dozen named disciples. The one with the highest level of cultivation is not the Golden Needle Mother, but Su Yang, who was taken under his tutelage when he was in the Liaozai world. This son now sits in the Chongshan Academy of the Chongshan world. He is called the God of Thunder. He is extremely domineering with his thunder skills. He already has the cultivation level of the late Earth Immortal. However, Our Lady of the Golden Needle's thoughts are delicate, prudent, and appropriate, which is indeed incomparable to other registered disciples. In recent years, the rapid development of Chongshan Academy in the Shushan world is inseparable from her efforts. Su Junming has never been stingy with rewards for her. Therefore, in just a short period of time, Our Lady of the Golden Needle advanced from the late stage of Yuan Shen to the middle stage of Earth Immortal. There are few named disciples who can be faster than her. At the junction of the 2 days, the original calm of vast white clouds was broken. 6 powerful rays of light descended from the sky. After the light dispersed, 2 monks, 4 rays, and 6 figures walked out of it. Every figure exudes a powerful aura. Amitabha, I never thought that after so many years, I could come back here again. The speaker was a short, skinny old nun wearing a blue monk's robe. I didn't expect to come back one day. A female crown wearing a Taoist robe spoke with emotion. Without fellow Taoist Li's generous help, we would not be able to return to Shushan. There was a hint of compliment in the tone of an old Taoist priest wearing a white robe, with long snowy eyebrows and a majestic aura. Haha, fellow Taoist, please be polite. You and I are ministers in the same palace, so we should help each other. What's more, this lower realm of Shushan belongs to my Yellow Emperor's immortal domain, and we must not let it be collared by demons. Li Shaoji smiled. Having said that, if I hadn't seen the Changmei master Ren Shao, who only spent less than 1,000 years cultivating from a true immortal to the realm of mysterious immortals. He has outstanding talents and amazing understanding. If he had the hope of becoming a golden immortal in the future, he would not take the initiative. Help, make friends with heart. Now that the duel is approaching, let's go to Mount Imei first. Kui Sanza said, wearing a purple robe and a large cloak over his shoulders. Amitba, 4 Taoist friends go ahead. Xinru and I are going to the snowy mountains. Before the day of the Dharma fight comes, we must go to Mount Imei. After the crazy monk in apricot yellow robes finished speaking, he turned into a escaping light and flew towards the west. It seems that the Buddhist order has plans for the lower world this time. Tianyi Golden Mother's divine consciousness transmitted the message. After Ren Xiao frowned slightly, he called his master Chui Sanzi, as well as Li Shaoji and Tianyi Jinmu who were invited to assist him, and flew straight towards Mount Imei. Time passed little by little, and the entire practice world was boiling. The great showdown between the Imei sect and the Chongshan Academy is related to the direction of massacres in this world. Numerous alien cultivators, demon cultivators, as well as famous sects such as Wudaing and Kunlun, who have been waiting for this day, gathered towards Mount Imei in unison. The commotion and the number of monks gathered were the largest in a century. Even the second sword fight between Imei and the Wutai sect could not compare. However, compared to ordinary people, they were more interested in watching the excitement. Li Jingxiu, Kuzu, Yixiu, Ling Hun, and others who had become immortals had more to think about. Since the Tianshan fight, the strength of Chongshan Academy has been exposed a lot. With Imei's current strength, it can't beat Su Huang, let alone Chongshan True Lord Su Junming. Now they are taking the initiative to challenge me. From what I know about Qi Shuming, he will not do this unless he is certain, Kuzu said. Jinmei Jinmei must have returned from the Lingkong immortal realm, otherwise Imei has no chance of winning, Li Jingxiu said. Lu Wu frowned. Didn't he say that the Yellow Emperor had immortal rules, and immortals who had successfully ascended were not allowed to return to the lower world privately? The rules are dead, but people are alive. With Jinmei's skills, he will naturally find a way to get down, Li Jingxiu said. He and Ren Xiao, the real person with long eyebrows, were monks of the same generation. They had communicated with each other many times and they knew each other fairly well. If it's Master Jinmei, coupled with the Shushan town sect's formation Liangyi Machan, this contest will be a real one, Kuzu Taoist said. Thinking of the giant palm that covered the sky and the sun, and the hundreds of thousands of Tianzu monks who died under the giant palm, Li Jingxiu shook his head. Even if Ren Xiao comes in person, he may not be able to win. Just as Lu Yu was about to ask why, a sudden exclamation interrupted her thoughts. Look, people from Chongshan Academy are here. Everyone immediately turned their heads to look. Sure enough, where the sea of clouds met, in the middle of the infinite blue sky, several streams of light were flying slowly towards them. The first one was wearing a black robe and a golden crown. He was about 16 or 17 years old. He had a cold expression and had the air of a great master with his hands behind his back. Behind him on the left side, followed closely by an old Taoist wearing a black Taoist robe, a Taoist bun, frosty eyebrows and snowy temples, and a red gourd hanging on his waist. Behind the old Taoist followed a young man wearing a green robe, and 2 boys, one in green and one in red, who looked like golden boys in the sky. Someone who knew him quickly called out the person's life. 5 virtues true monarch dragon emperor. Zhuolong, the real person from the 5 mountains. Yujian Genren Guhong. Stone God Lord Shi's Hung. The red God Lord is harmless. 1 first-generation disciple, 1 second-generation disciple, 3 third-generation disciples from Chongshan Academy, 5 people. Why are there only 5 people? Shouldn't all the people be dispatched for the duel with Imei? Where is Su Junming, the true lord of Chongshan? If others don't come, he, the founder of the sect, should also come. The people in Imei are probably going to be furious. This is a naked contempt. In the midst of everyone's discussion, the Chongshan Academy Dragon Emperor's lineage came to the sky above Ningbai Cliff Cave in Mount Imei. Today, except for Zhuolong's junior disciple Shang Guanhong, Guhong's only disciple Qiu Yuan, and Shi Sheng's registered disciple Wei Xiao, who will stay in the upper courtyard of Chongshan Academy Rongcheng due to their low cultivation level. The rest are all here. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 696. Chapter 678 Chongshan fights Yimei, Dragon Emperor fights Ren Xiao. The strength of Chongshan Academy is indeed profound. Not counting the 5 true lords, there are actually 4 true immortals, especially 3 of them are third-generation disciples. Ling Hun, the poor god, exclaimed. Others think Chongshan Academy is arrogant and do not take Yimei seriously. But those who have truly become immortals know that although there are few others, their strength is extremely extraordinary. Yuxiu nodded. I wonder how Lord Chongshan teaches. The disciples of Chongshan, their cultivation and magic power have improved a lot almost overnight. And looking at the aura, there is no sense of emptiness at all, which is incredible. Fairy Han nodded in agreement. Now, with the help of Ling Han and the white-haired dragon girl Kui Wogu, the old couple have reconciled as before. The relationship between the 4 of them has also improved and they have become close friends. Unless Yimei has a last resort, even if Master Chenmei comes in person, it will be difficult to change the outcome of Yimei's decline. Ling Han sighed. The other 3 nodded in agreement. Ba, if you want to save Zen Master Zunchen, Zen Master Tianmeng and others from Chongshan Academy, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it just by relying on our words. Yutan Zhenyi sighed. Putting aside the pair of masters and disciples, True Lord Wude and True Master Wu, the remaining 3, Gu Hong, Shi Sheng and Huo Wuhe, are the first-class true immortals. The strength is still above hers. And this is only the lineage of Chongshan Academy. Others like Kongsang Fairy Jiao Shaoxin, Kaiu Bearded Sword Saint Yan Chixia, Ice Phoenix Fairy Su Huang, and Red Flower Madonna Miao Chufang are not bad at all. The god Nefenchuo next to him also sighed. After the Battle of Tianshan, the strength of Buddhism was gradually declining under the attack of Chongshan Academy. In just a few years, it has become a thing of the past. The 2 of them saw it in their eyes and were anxious in their hearts, but they did not dare to take action against the people of the Chongshan lineage. Because all Buddhists who took action were captured by people from the Chongshan lineage and disappeared. While the 2 were lamenting, the Dragon Emperor, who did not want to waste time, looked directly at the sky of Ningbai Cliff Cave. Chenmei, since you are back, why hide? Come out. What? Master Chenmei is back. While everyone was discussing, they quickly looked toward the Ningbai Cliff Cave sky. In an instant, more than a dozen rays of light flew over. In addition to the old faces such as the ascetic Taochuo, the master Miao I Chi Shuming, the dragon slayer Tai Shengziu, the wife Miao I Sun Lanyan, the drunk Taoist, and the bearded immortal Li Yuanhua. In front of them, there stood an old Taoist priest who was wearing a white robe, slightly fat, with eyebrows nearly 2 feet tall, dancing in the wind. His whole body was full of fairy spirit, and his square face showed majesty. Sure enough, it's Ren Xiao, the real man with long eyebrows, he's really back. There was an uproar among the crowd watching the battle. In the past 1,000 years, most practitioners in the Shushan world have listened to the story of Ren Xiao slaying demons, and have practiced all the way. His high prestige is definitely the pinnacle of the Shushan world in thousands of years. For a moment, the surroundings were filled with voices of exclamation, joy, and even respect. It was as if fans in the mortal world saw a star they had liked for many years. It's a pity that Ren Xiao's eyes were not on them at all. Your Excellency is the Dragon Emperor, the 3rd founder of Chongshan Academy, the 5 virtues true monarch of Tai. Yes, it's me. As far as I know, when we in Yimei made an appointment with your sect to fight, all the disciples of your sect were invited for the battle. Why did you not keep the agreement and only come here, Taoist fellow Long? The Dragon Emperor's cold tone revealed a strong sense of confidence. To fight against your Yimei sect, only my master and disciples are enough. Why bother working for others? Arrogant. Too arrogant. The people at Chongshan Academy are simply looking for death. Do they know how powerful Master Chenmei is? Before the people from Yimei could speak, the spectators around them began to avenge their grievances. Of course, no one really cares about their opinions, whether in Chongshan or Yimei. Ren Xiaoxiu frowned and his expression turned cold. I often hear from disciples that although the Chongshan lineage is called the righteous way, its disciples are arrogant, kill many people, and have a demonic nature. At first, I still didn't believe it, but now I have to believe it. The Dragon Emperor smiled coldly. Why talk so much nonsense? Today the two factions are fighting for the fate of the Shushan world and for the position of the protagonist of the millennium-killing tribulation. Just fight. But looking at your disciples, they are no match for my 3 disciples. However, your master is quite good. We might as well have a battle to determine the winner. Ren Xiao raised his eyebrows. Of course he knew that his disciples were not as good as the 3 third-generation disciples from the Chongshan lineage opposite him. After all, under his sect, Jian Bingruo, who has the highest cultivation level, is only in the late stage of Earth Immortal, and ascetic Tuchuo and Qi Shuming are only in the middle stage of Earth Immortal. The 3 of them combined are not as good as a monk in the true immortal realm. As for Zhuge Wolong, who was of his generation, his cultivation in the later stage of true immortal was not as good as his own. But it would be disgraceful to win a fight between a mysterious immortal and a late-stage true immortal monk. Take a step forward. Ren Xiao said loudly, I have often heard that the 3 masters of Chongshan Academy, the 5 virtues true monarch, have the 5 elements of divine light that spread across the world and sweep away everything. Today I will learn a lesson. Very good. The corners of the Dragon Emperor's lips curled up slightly. You guys step back 1,000 feet. Disciple, obey. Zhuge Wolong and his 3 disciples retreated thousands of feet away. As soon as they saw that the 2 men were about to take action, the people watching the fight hurriedly backed away. Even the most fanatical person is afraid of life and death. What's more, these 2 people are also the top among the top in the world of cultivation, and they are extremely powerful men whose cultivation reaches the sky. After a while, within a few thousand feet, only the Dragon Emperor and Ren Xiao were left facing each other. This moment, the originally raging wind seemed to slow down. The clouds seemed to be frightened and quickly dispersed in all directions. Boom! Earth-shaking momentum shot up from the 2 of them. The Dragon Emperor's body was shining with 5 colors of brilliance, while on the opposite side, Ren Xiao's body was filled with sword energy. The momentum of the 2 people colliding together, although it is an invisible thing, is more shocking than the collision of tangible mountains, earth, and rocks. Like thunder in a clear sky, the sound never stops. Moreover, the increasingly powerful momentum showdown was like a volcano rising into the sky, frantically venting its power. Everyone who had previously thought that thousands of feet was enough could not stand the increasing pressure and retreated step by step. 10,000 feet, 30,000 feet, the lower the cultivation level, the farther back. Those who can reach within 10,000 feet are basically true immortals. Those who can reach within 30,000 feet are all monks who have become immortals. Choke. The thundering sword roared. The swordsmanship tools that almost everyone around him were slacking on began to tremble. Infinite sword energy gathers. In an instant, 2 swords condensed in the empty air. 1 green and 1 purple. 1 yin and 1 yang. People who are familiar with Yimei will immediately understand that they are the treasure of Yimei's mountain, the purple and green swords. It seems that Ren Xiao has also understood the art of swordsmanship in the purple and green swords. The Dragon Emperor thought. Su Junming once used the Ziking dual swords, combined with the kendo techniques he had learned in the past, checked for deficiencies and filled in the gaps, and compiled it into the highest kendo classic under Chongshan sect, the Ziking sword classic. It is also the main practice of Yan Xixia's lineage. Forget it, let me teach you how to master the magic of the purple and green swordsmanship of yours. As soon as my heart moved, 5 rainbow lights shot into the sky above my head. These 5 rays of light are not dazzling, but appear a bit hazy. But the aura is so obscure that it is impossible to fathom. It's as if it's not light, but 5 worlds, as deep and powerful as that. Great 5 elements divine light. There was a hint of wariness in Ren Xiao's eyes. After learning about its wonders from several disciples, I couldn't help but become cautious when facing it today. The 2 natal swords he refined after imitating the purple and green swords were not released as he had done in the previous fight in the fairy world, but instead activated the sword energy to kill the enemy. As soon as the sword technique was activated, the vast purple-green sword energy seemed to be hanging upside down, surging and rushing straight towards the Dragon Emperor. The sword energy, which looks like a purple and green rainbow, is extremely beautiful from a distance, but the infinite murderous intent contained within it makes people shudder. The Dragon Emperor stood with his hands behind his back, looking calm. The golden divine light behind his head soared into the sky, and with a swipe in the air, the sea and the river were clear in an instant, and the purple-green sword energy disappeared. Ren Xiao's pupils shrank. It's really extraordinary. With a thought in his heart, a blue spiritual light flew out of his body and landed on the ground, transforming into a Taoist wearing a blue robe and holding a jade purification bottle in his hand, who was 70% similar to Ren Xiao. The latter urged the jade bottle in his hand, and in an instant, the sound of the river rolling back was like thunder. Immediately afterwards, the mighty blue water flowed towards the Dragon Emperor like a vast ocean. At the same time, the purple and green sword energy seemed like 2 dragons coming out of the sea, entangled with each other, tearing apart and flying towards the opposite side. A blue divine light, combined with the white divine light just now, brushed down in the air. The sword energy and water flow dissipated instantly. Ren Xiao's heart trembled. Another 4 rays of light flew out of the body. Holding thunder hammer, wooden staff, big seal and fire bag respectively. With the help of mana, thunder, giant trees, big seals holding up the sky, and blazing fire all rolled in. Coupled with the sky-filling floods and purple-green sword energy, the Dragon Emperor was surrounded by an airtight seal. As soon as the seal is pressed, the 5 elements of divine light envelope the whole body. No matter how they attack the real Chenmei and several clones, they can't shake the great 5 elements divine light even half an inch. But the Dragon Emperor is not someone who just takes a beating without fighting back. Opening his palm, a black copper bell emerged. As Su Junming's 7 soul clones, they all have a kind of natal magical power of the soul path. Ren Wuji's is the soul binding rope, while his is the soul falling bell. Combined with the top-grade immortal weapon soul falling bell refined by Su Junming for him, its power is doubled. It's just that there are very few people who are worthy of him using this treasure, so his reputation is not well known in the spiritual world. The right hand curls its fingers into a sword, pointing towards the bronze bell in the palm. Boom! The bell-like sound of a yellow bell and a bell, with a strange soul-rending power, instantly spread to all directions. But anyone who heard this voice instantly felt that their souls were scattered, their bodies were crumbling, and their magic power could not be condensed. Chang Mei Zhenren was the first to bear the brunt, even more so. His feet stumbled and he almost fell down. The great 5 elements divine light, which had been ready for a long time, flew over like lightning. Once he falls into it, the weight of the 5 worlds will be added to him. Let alone Chenmei Zhenren, who is only in the early stage of Xianxian, even if he is at the peak of Xianxian, it will be difficult to escape. Just when he was about to be captured, a golden talisman suddenly flew out from the Chenmei Lingtai. In an instant, it turned into a black shield that was thousands of feet long, with basalt beasts embossed on the surface, followed by phantoms, but it revealed a black shield that was as thick and solid as a rock and difficult to break through the Taoyuan. Boom! It's like huge waves crashing on the coastal rocks. The deafening sound spread in all directions. The black shield was stronger than the Dragon Emperor expected. No matter how he activated the great five elements divine light, it was difficult to shake the black shield. He frowned slightly, spread his fingers, and clapped forward. The great five-element divine light dispersed instantly and quickly submerged the black shield. The strongest point of his divine light is not its impact, but its suppressive power within the world. But even so, the impact of five single-element worlds tens of millions of miles away is still extraordinary. This black shield can block it, so it must be the most top-notch existence among the best immortal weapons. Taking advantage of this moment of effort, Ren Xiao quickly retreated. However, after seeing the five-color divine light submerging the black shield, his expression could not hide his shock. Suanwu shield, the most powerful defensive treasure in the spiritual world. Although it is only a top-quality immortal weapon from the 12 paths of immortality, from ancient times to the present, it has been the top sect in the Lingkong immortal world and the most important treasure of the overseas Penglai immortal sect. Tens of thousands of years of worship and the blessing of the sect's luck have made it far more powerful than ordinary top-grade immortal weapons. He also spent a lot of money to buy a Suanwu true talisman from the Penglai immortal sect. At critical moments, it can be used to save lives. I didn't expect it to be used here. Seeing the five-color divine light dancing again, it was obvious that the true talisman, which could exert the power of the Suanwu shield 100%, did not bring too many constraints to it. After thinking about this clearly, Ren Xiao was shocked. I have a clearer understanding of the power of the five elements divine light. But seeing him escape, the Dragon Emperor felt a little regretful. His great five elements divine light is extremely powerful. If the magic power is not enough, it will be difficult to drive it quickly, resulting in missed opportunities. Just like now, he received a huge amount of five elements spiritual objects from Su Junming, and now his five elements divine light has reached 70 million miles. Even Wu-Tu divine light is stronger. In order to be able to activate it flexibly, the Dragon Emperor must have the magic power of a peak Xianxian. To be able to use the Wu-Tu divine light with ease, you must at least be a golden immortal. The Dragon Emperor's current cultivation level is only in the early stage of Xianxian, so naturally he will be a little helpless. However, even so, its defensive capabilities are still unparalleled. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 697. Chapter 679, The Disillusionment of Life and Death, the Dust of the Two Rituals. Boom. The Dragon Emperor rang the soul-falling bell again. The combination of his natal magical power and the immortal weapon was particularly powerful. Chang Mei Genren was the first to bear the brunt. Because I had already suffered a loss once, I was prepared in advance this time. A jade seal sheds heavy light, protecting himself in the middle. However, he underestimated the power of the soul-falling bell. Although this jade seal was a high-grade immortal weapon, it was far inferior to the soul-falling bell of a higher level. With the rapid fluctuation of the protective light shield and the powerful bell ringing, the jade seal flew away. Chen Mei Genren felt his head tremble, and his magic power was instantly scattered. In an instant, the divine light of Kuishui that the Dragon Emperor had practiced most skillfully flew over like lightning. The speed is astonishing, but after all, Chen Mei Genren is not an ordinary person. His talent, perseverance, and understanding are all top-notch. Coupled with the protection of the previous jade seal, he quickly struggled out from the sound of the soul-destroying bell, although his head was still sore. The mana is still scattered. But fortunately, it is not without resistance. He reached out and made a move, and the jade seal's brilliance shone brightly, blocking him in an instant. But as soon as the corundum sunflower water's spiritual light touched, it was instantly taken away and suppressed. Taking this opportunity, Chen Mei quickly retreated, but the red fire divine light had already caught up. Not fully recovered, he repeated his old trick and activated the jade bottle to block the red fire divine light. Boom! The mighty soul-destroying bell rang again. With the experience of the first 2 times, Master Chenmei dealt with it a little more calmly than before. After consuming several immortal weapons, he no longer passively defended himself, but instead offered a purple talisman. The Dragon Emperor instinctively felt the danger. He frowned slightly, the magic formula in his palm changed, and the 5 elements of divine light suddenly changed. Boom! It was like a thunderbolt from the clear sky. The dazzling purple light, as if the sun was born, filled the sky and the earth. The mighty thunder gathered into a 3-foot-long spear, piercing the space with earth-shattering momentum, and arrived in front of the Dragon Emperor in the blink of an eye. Astonishing penetrating power, as fast as light and lightning, it is almost impossible to avoid unless you are prepared in advance. Although the Dragon Emperor had noticed it early, he did not avoid it. Let the spear come through the air. However, the strange thing is, the 5-color divine light in front of him, which was no more than a size thick, seemed to contain infinite space. The 3-foot-long lightning spear flew into it and was silent for a long time. How can it be? The Long Mei Master's face was filled with disbelief. The Thunder Divine Spear is the most important treasure of the top sect in the Yellow Emperor's immortal realm, the Shenxiao Dao. It is said that with one spear, it is difficult to save the immortals. It is the top killing weapon in the spiritual world. The Thunder Talisman condensed with this treasure as the foundation is a protective treasure that only the core disciples of Shenxiao Dao have. It was only by chance that he got one. Now that I have used it, I thought that I could achieve great success in an instant and save the defeat, but I never thought that I wouldn't even hear a sound. Not only did he find it unbelievable, but Tianyi Jinmuo, Li Xiaojia, Chuo Sanzi, Xin Rusheni and Crazy Monk who returned from the Lingkong immortal realm with him also had their eyes widened. Shenxiao Dao town teaches the Lingbao Thunder Spear, which shocks the entire Qi County Shenzhou. The 5 immortal realms, the 4 sea realms, and the 3 immortal mountains are all as powerful as thunder piercing the airs. With the help of this treasure to suppress, Shenxiao Dao has survived several catastrophes that destroyed the sect. I never thought that such a powerful Lei Dao Lingbao would meet his opponent in the lower realm that everyone thought was barren. Although a talisman that condenses the spiritual power of the Thunder Spear cannot be equal to the Thunder Spear itself, its indestructible power is still breathtaking. Fellow Daoist, do you know what kind of treasure that is? It's so powerful. Li Xiaojia stared at the 5 rainbow lights surrounding the Dragon Emperor with fiery eyes. Chen Sanzi shook his head. The old Taoist doesn't know very well. Once we take down this devil, it won't be too late for me to ask again. That is not a spiritual treasure, but a magical power. Xin Rusheni said. Looking at everyone's eyes and recalling the news about Chongshan Academy collected in the past few days, Xin Rusheni looked complicated. This magical power is called Great 5 Elements Divine Light. It is a great magical power cultivated by the 3rd founder of Chongshan Academy, Tai 5 Virtues True Monarch. His disciples all practice it. It is known as under the divine light, there is nothing don't brush. Nothing is left untouched. What a big statement, Tianyi Golden Mother said. Although it's a bit exaggerated, seeing that it was able to block even the Thunder Spear just now, its power is really unbelievable, Xin Rusheni said. When I look at this light, it seems that it possesses the wonders of a pot of heaven, containing infinite space. The mad monk hesitated. Did Master get it wrong? This magical power is called 5 Elements Divine Light, and it is indeed true when looking at the aura. How could it be the magical power of Hushan Dao, said Chui Sanzi. But, maybe the poor monk really saw it wrong. Before receiving the flying sword message from Master Chenmei and returning to the lower realm, he had been studying the great magical power of the great sect of Buddhism in the Lingkong immortal world, the great cloud temple, the Sumi palm. This palm contains the use of Hu Tian Dao, but it is not too profound. Despite this, it also made him feel that it was obscure and difficult to understand. But with his current cultivation level of Si Tuohan Arhat, which is equivalent to that of a Taoist Xianxian, he can understand it to some extent. Only then did I see a bit of the mystery of the five elements divine light. Since I am not very knowledgeable, I am not sure. No matter what, everything will be clear once we capture this person, Li Xiaojia said. After hearing this, everyone nodded in unison. Being in the spiritual world, they knew the value of a top-notch magical power, so they all looked forward to it. At this time, the thunder and lightning spear transformed by the spiritual talisman flew millions of miles within the five elements of divine light, lost its restraints, and slowly disintegrated. A blow that gathers the spiritual power of top-notch immortal weapons is truly powerful. But although the great five elements divine light seems to be just a light, in fact, there is actually a world of five elements tens of millions of miles away inside. It is the true essence of Nixumi and mustard seeds. Even the golden immortal cannot control his Taoism and fly tens of millions of miles. And there is also the obstruction of the power of the realm. Master Chenmei is also a decisive person. When he saw the magic talisman at the bottom of the box, he couldn't stand the other party's divine light. In an instant, he gave up all thoughts of fighting alone. Flying back in an instant, shaking his hands, a spiritual light rushed straight towards the bullfighting. After flying thousands of feet, it suddenly turned into a vast yin and yang spiritual light. At the same time, 6 figures holding large flags, including Qi Shuming, 4 monks and 2 monks, appeared thousands of feet away. The 6 people shook violently, and in an instant, the situation within the city changed. 6,000-foot-long flag gates appeared on the ground, and a complex golden eclipse glyph shone on each gate. It is exactly the 6 words life, death, illusion, destruction, obscurity, and clarity. The flag door flashed and disappeared instantly. Immediately afterwards, the sky and the earth disappeared in an instant, and the infinite dimness and gloomy aura flew from all directions, filling the entire space in an instant. The Dragon Emperor, whose whole body was shrouded in the divine light of the 5 elements, stood as steady as Mount Tai in the center. The Lianji dust formation is indeed mysterious. With the help of the connected soul, Su Junming also saw the formation at this moment. With the help of the bronze mirror, the dark appearance of the complex formation instantly faded away, revealing the essence of countless cobweb-like restrictions stacked on top of each other. In Su Junming's eyes, these prohibitions filled with countless eclipses are like mathematical formulas composed of numbers and symbols, exquisite and beautiful. Every prohibition is precisely arranged together, as standard as a workpiece on an assembly line, without the slightest fallacy. It turns out to be a composite formation. With Lianji Yin and Yang as the foundation and Liuhe flag gate as the flanks, it is called the 6 changes of life and death, disillusionment and darkness, but it is actually 12. Moreover, Yin and Yang are reversed, and life and death change. There is no so-called life at all. Door. Su Junming, who was soul connected with the Dragon Emperor, used his eyes to look excitedly at the surrounding formation. Different from the grand finale of taking Laozi in the legend, these 2 dust arrays do not have the power to transform the universe into a prehistoric state and use dust to evolve everything in the world. However, even so, as a top-level immortal formation, the ability of this Lianji dust formation is still enough to suppress Shushan and even the Lingkong immortal realm. After taking over the Shenzi flag gate from Qi Shuming, Master Chenmei shook his hand and placed the Ziying sword on it. Driven by the power of the large formation, the power of this innate spiritual treasure burst out instantly. The mighty sword energy was incredibly sharp. It's a pity that the Kingsuo sword was not found, otherwise it would have been placed at the death flag gate. The 2 swords combined would be enough to sweep across Shushan. When he first ascended to the spiritual world, except for one important treasure that was related to his wealth and life, he left all the important treasures including the purple and green swords, the innate energy talisman, and the Lingkui peak in Ime. One is to suppress the luck and let them contribute to the prosperity of Ime. The other is to avoid the crime of having a jade. In the Shusan world, he was a powerful person and no one dared to covet his spiritual treasure, but it was different in the Lingkong immortal world. If those Xianxian and Jingxian knew that he had an innate spiritual treasure, they would definitely come to snatch it. Instead of worrying about it every day, you might as well wait until your cultivation level is high and then go to the lower realm to get it back. It's just that he didn't expect that despite all the calculations, he still lost a Kingsuo sword. Using the magic of heaven to deduce it has no results. Later, due to the pressure from Chongshan Academy, there was no time to look for it. He used his own natal flying sword, the Qingyang sword, to temporarily replace the Kingsuo sword. After suppressing the death sect, Xinru Sheni took charge of it. Chuan Sanzi used the top-grade immortal weapon Ling Kaifeng to suppress the Huanzi Divine Gate. Li Xiaojia used the Divine Thunder Hammer, a top-grade immortal weapon, to suppress the Mizi Divine Sect. The Mad Monk used the Green Willow Staff, a top-grade immortal weapon, to suppress the Han Gate, and the Tianyi Golden Mother used the top-grade immortal weapon, the Tianyi Shen Water Flag, to suppress the Ming Gate. 5 fellow Taoists, you must guard the Flag Gate and cooperate with me to kill this beast. Fellow Taoist Ren, don't worry. With such a large formation, this demon will definitely be unable to escape, Li Xiaojia said with a smile. He really didn't expect that the person he was optimistic about and planned to make friends with would actually have such a large formation in the remote lower world. Although the whole picture cannot be seen, the aura revealed by this formation is no worse than that of the mountain protecting formations of the top sects in the Lingkong immortal realm such as Leguan Taoism, Tianchi sect, and Chunyang sect. And that purple sword, if I read it correctly, it must be an innate spiritual treasure. Thinking of this, Li Xiaojia felt deep envy in his heart. The preciousness of innate spiritual treasures is known to everyone in the entire Lingkong immortal world. But except for a few top sects of witchcraft, Taoism, demons such as Kunlun, Tianchi Tao, and Chukave, there are not even big sects such as Leguan Tao, Penglai sect, and Kongmingshan. Thinking again of the extremely powerful magical power of the previous person called the Great Five Elements Divine Light. It seems that the lower realm of Shusan is not as barren as I imagined. After this matter is over, I must inspect it again. The long-browed master took a deep breath and looked at the conspicuous 5-color rainbow light in the center of the formation. Use the innate energy talisman to activate the formation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 698. In an instant, the Ziying sword and Qingyang sword bloomed with light, and the grey aura in the Lianji dust formation instantly transformed into an extremely sharp sword aura. Ren Xiao's finger formula changed. Shua. Thousands of extremely sharp blue and purple sword lights flew towards the 5-color rainbow light overwhelmingly. But what shocked Master Changmei was that no matter how he activated the formation, no matter how he shook the two swords, the 5-color rainbow light is like a bottomless pit that cannot be filled up by any amount of sword energy. I do not believe. Ren Xiao looked fierce and activated the 6 flag gates of life and death, disillusionment and Huiming one after another. The endless spiritual energy of heaven and earth was attracted by the formation from all directions, turning into vast sword energy, bursting thunder, heavy mountains, churning floods, and extremely thick wooden piles, all pressing against the 5-color rainbow light. The Dragon Emperor controls the 5 elements of divine light, and will not reject anyone who comes. In addition to the difficulty of transforming thunder, sword energy, mountains, floods, and wooden stakes are all changes in the spiritual energy of the 5 elements, which exactly meets the needs of his 5 elements of divine light. Unless Master Chinmay has powerful enough treasures and cultivation to break the great five elements divine light with one blow, the current sword energy, mountain, and other Taoist methods will not be able to fill up the five elements divine light, which can reach tens of millions of miles away. World. The Dragon Emperor's eyes flashed with light, and with the help of the connected soul, Su Junming was constantly comprehending this great formation that was famous all over Shu Mountain. Especially when the formation was fully operational, all the applications were exposed to him, making it far easier to comprehend than before. "When will you get better?" Dragon Emperor asked impatiently. "What, you can't help it anymore? If you were beaten by a group of people here, would you be able to endure it calmly?" Su Junming smiled. "Don't be impatient. You'll be fine soon." The Dragon Emperor frowned. "After I break the formation and get the innate chi-taking talisman, you can comprehend it however you want. Why bother in a hurry?" "Because the hexagrams show that there are still variables in today's battle," Su Junming said. "Variable? What variable? Could it be that Ren Shao also invited other people from the Lingkong immortal realm to go down to the lower realm? I don't know. There is no clear indication of the divine sphere. With your cultivation, coupled with the innate spiritual treasure of the heavenly secret divine ball, it is impossible to deduce the identity of the person. It seems that this troublemaker has an extraordinary origin, at least he is also a golden immortal," the Dragon Emperor said. "So we must comprehend this Lianji dust formation in advance as much as possible, otherwise it will be troublesome if we use the golden immortal cultivation to activate it. The power of the top immortal formation can amplify a monk's combat power thousands of times. The higher the cultivation level, the stronger the power released. If Jingxian takes action, he will have no chance of winning unless he uses a mid-level innate spiritual treasure such as the void mirror at the bottom of the box. Since there are still variables, should we let Wolong and the others wait and see what happens instead of taking action? No need. If there is a chance to capture Chinmay and others, of course we have to give it a try first," Su Junming said. Outside at this time, looking at the grand formation that occupies a 1,000-mile radius, 6 flags are raised high, and the yin and yang lights are majestic. Everyone watching the battle turned pale. What is more shocking than the main formation is the people in the main formation sitting cross-legged on the flag gate. Tianyi Golden Mother. Qi Sanzi, one of the 3 elders of Ime. One of the 6 monsters in the universe is Nixon Ryu, the heart-like god. There is also the great Buddhist monk Crazy Monk. Didn't they all ascend to the spiritual world 1,000 years ago? Old man Kuzu said in shock. It seems that Chinmay invited them all back. Li Jingxiu looked complicated. Except for the middle-aged Taoist priest who was wearing a soap-colored Taoist robe and a jade crown, and whose aura was earth-shattering, he didn't recognize them. The rest were all acquaintances. However, what made him complicated was that when he was still in the lower realm, although these people's cultivation was higher than him, the difference was not too far behind. But today, they are far beyond him. I won't mention the immortal Chinmay. Favored by the destiny of the world in Shushan, he not only has excellent talent and understanding, but also has the best luck and luck in thousands of years. When he was in the lower realm, he surpassed many seniors who had entered the Tao before him. Now it has reached a level that even he can hardly fathom. But people like Chu Sanzi, Tianyi Golden Mother, and Xin Rusheni, who were only 1 generation above him, were now far above him. Especially Xin Rusheni, whose cultivation level is much stronger than that of Chinmay Jinren. This makes Li Jingxiu's heart somewhat complicated. If I had also ascended together back then, my cultivation would have reached the peak of a true immortal, or even a perfect cultivation. In the Shusan cultivation world back then, apart from being inferior to Chinmay in terms of luck and luck, he was no worse than Chinmay in terms of qualifications, understanding, and character. If he had enough spiritual energy, he would not lose to any of his peers. After sighing for a moment, Li Jingxiu quickly calmed down. The past is past, Too much trouble will only consume your mind, it is better to seize the present. Look! Old man Kuzu shouted, instantly attracting his attention. He quickly looked up. However, they saw that Zhuge Wolong's master and apprentice who stayed outside the formation were now divided into 4 directions, southeast, northwest, and each holding a long sword with soaring sword energy. Even though they were hundreds of feet away, Li Jingxiu could clearly sense the sharp sword energy of the 4 swords that could tear the heaven and earth apart. So strong! I was secretly shocked. Except for the purple and green swords, he had never seen a sword with such powerful sword energy. Get ready to take action. Zhuge Wolong gave the order. Gu Hong, Shi Shen, and Huo Wuhe, the 4 masters and disciples activated the swords in their hands at the same time. The magic power of the true immortal level instantly transformed the 4 long swords into giants. The swords looked like 4 giant pillars, blooming with infinite brilliance. Zhuge Wolong's magic power activated and sacrificed the 4-elephant formation. In an instant, there were dense restrictions and sword lights. A sky-shattering sword array, no less inferior to the Lianji Machin array, covered it in the middle. It sounds like a long time, but actually the change happens in an instant. No one expected that the Chongshan lineage still had such an amazing sword array. However, because it covered such a wide area, countless people who came to watch the battle were trapped between the sword formation and the Lianji dust formation. After being affected by Qiyu, these people instantly lost their cool. He dared to speak dirty words and even began to attack the sword array. The timid man knelt down and begged for mercy, speaking pitifully. Master, what should I do? Shi Shen has a kind heart, but is somewhat intolerant. Let go of a corner of the formation and let those who are not Ime out. Yes. The 4 of them took action at the same time, revealing a corner of the thick sword array barrier. Zhuge Wolong's majestic voice echoed in the sword array. If you are not a disciple of Ime, please leave quickly. Otherwise, you will be responsible for the consequences. As soon as these words came out, everyone was not willing to lag behind. They pushed each other and flew out of the formation like a torrent. What happened to Qiyu this time has completely frightened many people. Afraid that the fighting between the 2 factions would harm him again, he flew more than 10 miles before stopping with lingering fear. Looking at the more powerful sword formation in the distance, I couldn't help but sigh. Chongshan and Ime are determined to fight to the death. Outsiders can see that, and the people of Ime are no exception. Looking at the sword array on the periphery, Chang Mei Jinren, Tianyi Jinmuo, Chuo Sanzi, and others all changed their expressions. What is the origin of this Chongshan Academy? How come there is such a sword array? Chuo Sanzi asked in shock. The Chenmei master frowned and shook the purple Ying sword. In an instant, a magnificent purple sword energy, like a sky-shattering rainbow, slashed straight towards the 4-elephant sword formation. 4 elephants killing immortal sword. Zhuge Wolong's immortal killing sword shines brightly in his hand. A dark blue sword light rose into the sky, and the mighty sword light instantly collided with the purple sword energy. Boom! Loud noise in the sky. Like thunder. The blue and purple sword energies were like 2 10,000-foot dragons, strangled together crazily. They roared and screamed, and gradually turned into fireflies all over the sky, and gradually dissipated. So strong. Tianyi Golden Mother frowned. When she first received the letter from Master Chenmei Flying Sword, she followed the lower realm after considering the many years of friendship between the two and the fact that Master Chenmei, the future Golden Immortal, had a reputation that was difficult to refute. He never expected that his opponent this time would be so strong. She began to regret it a little. Ren Xiao, this formation must be broken, otherwise the Lianji dust formation will be in danger, Ai Sansa said solemnly. Ren Xiao responded, his expression extremely serious. If the formation wants to exert its power, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is the foundation. The sword formation outside sealed the sky and the earth, like a matryoshka doll, directly surrounding the Lianji dust formation. It also cut off the spiritual energy of heaven and earth needed for the formation. If it cannot be broken, the power of the Lianji dust formation will only become weaker and weaker. Without the blessing of the great formation, they would become mere meat on someone else's chopping board and be slaughtered by others. Buzz buzz. The Lianji dust formation began to tremble slightly under the full force of the Chinmay master. The tyrannical sword energy began to brew. Looking at the spiritual light blooming in the Lianji dust formation, Zhuge Wolong looked serious. He also knew that the next big battle was the key. Use the magic talisman of good fortune to activate the four symbols absolute immortal sword. Yes. The three disciples responded loudly and slapped the gourd on their waists. A milky white spiritual talisman flew out from it. The four creation talismans that Su Junming had practiced with the magic power of the Tao of creation, like light birds, instantly attached to the four long swords. In an instant, the four swords of slaying the immortal, slaying the demon, and slaying the sky seemed to have swallowed something powerful. The sword energy aura was nearly 100 times stronger. The sword energy soaring into the sky took shape under the four-image formation. In an instant, a flash of red, yellow, white, and green, a deep color, and an earth-shattering sword energy bloomed. The mighty power made everyone change their expressions. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 699. Chenmei Genren Ren Xiao, Chuo Sanzi, Tianyi Golden Mother, Li Xiaojia, Xin Rusheni, and Crazy Monk, 3 mysterious immortals and 3 peak true immortals. The 6 people mobilized the Lianji dust formation with all their strength, unleashing almost 100% of the power of the Ziying sword, an innate spiritual treasure. If Chiang Mei's natal spiritual treasure Qingyang sword was only a high-grade immortal weapon and could not cooperate with the Ziying sword, this deep purple sword light would be even more powerful at this moment. The purple sword light soaring into the sky was like a dragon coming out of a cave, with a majestic momentum. The four-color sword light that came down from the pressure was like a meteorite falling from the sky, shaking the earth and shaking the sky. In an instant, a bright light expanded rapidly, as if a scorching sun was born. Everyone in the 2 large formations subconsciously closed their eyes. Followed by a deafening explosion and a powerful impact, it was like a huge wave rolling into the sky, a huge sea churning, impacting the 2 formations in waves. Both sides mobilized all their mana, guarded the formation, and resisted wave after wave of attacks. Looking at the sword formation that was still as stable as a mountain and tightly covering the Lianji dust formation in the middle, the Chenmei master looked solemn. Next to him, a mountain seemed to be carved out of fine jasper, complete with mountains, rocks, ravines, flowers, plants, and trees. It seemed like a hill that had shrunk thousands of times, riding on the clouds and floating up and down. This mountain is the Yimei Ningbai Cliff Cave. In its core, Taiyuan Cave, Yimei disciples such as Qi Shuming, Su Xin Taochuo, looked at the anxious battle situation outside with anxious expressions. But no matter how anxious they are, they can't help much with their low cultivation level. When Yimei was helpless, Su Junming had already penetrated the Lianji dust formation. Ever since the Tiangong Divine Furnace achieved the middle grade innate spiritual treasure, Su Junming has been using the bronze mirror to continuously comprehend. Now his realm of Tiangong Dao has entered the Taiyi realm. Tiangong Dao contains the Alchemy Dao, the Instrument Dao and the Formation Dao, so after the realm is improved, it will naturally not take too long to comprehend the Lianji mode formation. Just like a person who has learned the multiplication tables, it will be very easy for him to calculate addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let Zhuge Wolong activate the sword formation to contain the Lianji Machin formation, and then use your 5 elements divine light to attack the white tiger position guarded by Chu Sanzi. The Lianji dust formation is in the shape of a spindle, with the highest cultivating Chenmei Genren holding the purple Yang sword guarding the top, which is the Yang position. Second only to him, Xinru Sheni, whose cultivation level is also equivalent to that of Xianxian, holds the Qingyang sword and sits in the yin position. Li Xiaojia, whose cultivation level is a little higher than the two of them, is in the middle stage of Xianxian, holding the divine thunder hammer and sitting in the azure dragon position. These three positions are definitely the strongest in the Lianji Machin formation. The cultivation levels of Crazy Monk, Chuo Sanzi, and Tianyi Jinmu are only at the peak of the true immortals. Among them, Crazy Monk has the highest cultivation level, followed by Tianyi Jinmu, and Chui Sanzi is at the bottom. Relatively speaking, the white tiger position he was guarding was naturally the easiest to break through. This is also the only weakness in the top-level immortal formation, Lianji Machin formation. After the Dragon Emperor nodded, he sent a message to Zhuge Wolong and his 3 disciples through the human soul divine gate. Hearing this, the 4 people quickly took out another fortune-telling talisman given by Su Junming and pasted it on the 4 flying swords. The 4 swords of slaying the sky, slaying the immortal, slaying the demon, and slaying the demon became stronger again. Although the 4 symbols array cannot combine the acquired chaotic energy, it can increase the power of the 4 swords 1,000 times. The mighty 4-color sword energy of green, red, yellow, and pitch black condensed into a thick, tough, but sharper sword river. A mighty force rushed straight towards the Lianji dust formation. The long-browed master raised his eyebrows. He did not expect the opponent's attack to come so quickly. It did not look like 4 true immortals were in the main formation, but rather like 4 mysterious immortals. No matter what, we can't let the sword light hit them down, otherwise the Lianji dust formation will be in danger. Not only him, but also Xinru Sheni, Tianyi Golden Mother and others also understand. So without his instructions, they all input mana to activate the formation. The vast purple sword light soared into the sky. A more fierce and domineering confrontation than before bloomed between the 2 formations. The powerful impact made both sides ignore anything else and tried their best to stabilize the formation. Right now, the 5-color rainbow light, which had been silent before, suspended in the middle of the Lianji dust array, instantly turned into light and electricity. It was not at all confused by the Lianji dust aura in the array, which was enough to confuse the Jinxian's consciousness, and accurately found it. Find the white tiger position where Chu Sanzi is. The mighty 5-element divine light, mixed with the weight of a 5-element world tens of millions of miles away, hit it hard like a meteorite falling from the sky. Everyone was shocked. Not good. Chen Sanzi could no longer resist the impact of the turbulent waves, and activated his magic power. The green willow trees that dominated the formation turned into thousands of feet, blocking him tightly. Boom! There was a loud, dull thunderous noise. After all, King Liumu is not the Suanwu shield, the #1 defensive weapon in the Lingkong immortal realm. The great 5-element divine light crushed the green willow staff like a destructive force, and then crashed into the Lianji dust formation in a mighty manner. Crunch! The sound of toothache was deafening. Chang Mei Zhenren and others tried their best to stabilize the formation, but they could not stop the huge and powerful attack from both inside and outside. Boom! There was a huge earthquake in the sky, and the formation suddenly shattered. With a wow sound, Chenmei Zhenren and Tianyi Golden Mother, who were connected in their minds, were instantly shocked and retreated quickly. The great 5 elements divine light passed by in a shocking way, and the green willow stick, white tiger flag gate, and the acanthus powder were all taken away. Dong dong! The bell-like sound of a yellow bell resounded through the formation space. The strange soul-falling power spreads out. Everyone who was already injured felt a pain in their heads, and instantly felt that their spirits were wandering, their souls were floating, and the magic power in their dantian had lost its restraint. Not everyone has as many trump cards as Chang Mei Zhenren. The soul-falling clock of the highest immortal level, coupled with the Dragon Emperor's innate magical power, instantly destroyed the souls of the 2 true immortals, the Mad Monk and the Tianyi Golden Mother. Although Xinru Sheni and Li Xiaojia had Xianxian level cultivation, they were unable to resist the attack of the soul falling bell and were struck instantly. The same goes for Chinmay Genren. But compared to the others, after being tortured by the soul falling bell, coupled with his preparations and the treasures to protect his soul, he woke up quickly after a brief coma. But during the period of coma, the scattered five divine lights of Zhengjin, Shiwo, Wutu, King Mu, and Kuishui had already taken away Xinru Sheni, Li Xiaojia, Tianyi Golden Mother, and Crazy Monk. Also taken away with him was the innate Qi-taking talisman, a key treasure in arranging the Lianji dust array. Withdrawing the great five elements divine light, he stood behind him, holding the spinning clock in his left hand. The Dragon Emperor looked from afar at the long-browed immortal with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth, frowning, and a heavy face. Ren Xiao, I know you have other means, bring them out, otherwise you will never have another chance. The Chinmay master raised his right hand and slowly wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth, his expression gradually calmed down. Why are you so sure that I have other means? Of course, the Dragon Emperor would not say that he had a magical bronze mirror that could see through all his secrets. My soul-destroying bell is a top-grade immortal weapon. Unless you have the cultivation level of a golden immortal, it will be impossible to resist it. And you have recovered from the soul-destroying sound over and over again. Without the protection of heavy treasures, it would be impossible. Subconsciously he glanced at the small black clock he held in his left palm. The ultimate immortal weapon? No wonder it's so powerful. But I want to know more, is your honor not from this world? The Dragon Emperor said calmly, we have already reached this situation, so what's the point of asking this again? It's really meaningless, but if you can't solve the confusion in your heart, it will be a bit regretful. After a brief consideration, the Dragon Emperor nodded. With Chongshan Academy's current strength, there is no need to hide anything anymore. After shaking his head and sighing, there was a bitter look on the face of the real person with long eyebrows. It's really not as good as God. He had painstakingly arranged the great prosperity of Imei for thousands of years, but because of outsiders disrupting the situation, it disappeared and ceased to exist. Chongshan Academy is also an authentic Taoist school. For the sake of Chongshan and Imei families both belonging to the Taoist lineage, can you allow me and other souls to reincarnate safely? Obviously, after the duel just now, Master Chinmay has lost confidence in the next fight. As you said, we, Chongshan Academy, are the authentic sect of Suanmen. So, you don't have to worry about your future. Chinmay Genren was extremely intelligent and instantly heard the implication of the Dragon Emperor. You mean you won't take our lives? Good. But, why? In Ren Xiao's understanding, hasn't this been the case since ancient times? All we want is the luck of this world. The Dragon Emperor's eyes sparkled. The reason why Chongshan Academy wants to eliminate Imei is to clear the obstacles, completely occupy the destiny of this world, lead the good and evil in the spiritual world, and set an example for the world. Only in this way can one occupy the world of humans and immortals. This will lay the foundation for Chongshan world to annex Jixian Shenzhou. As for Imei, Su Junming planned to transfer these people to the world of Chongshan because they belonged to the Taoist lineage and had many merits. There, Chongshan Academy occupies an absolute dominant position and is not afraid of them turning the world upside down. Of course, Su Junming is not kind to everyone. Buddhist monks such as Zun Sheng, Tian Meng, and Bai Mei, including this time Xinru and Crazy Monk, should not even think about becoming enlightened in this life. It's certain that he will suffer a calamity. As for whether they can enter the immortal path again in the future, it all depends on themselves. The reason for these two different results lies in Su Junming's dislike of Buddhist ideas. He would never allow the conclusion of reincarnation in the world of Chongshan, he would not allow the concept of worshipping Buddha in this life and being rich in the next life. Everyone only has one life. Whether they are rich or not, what their status is, and their cultivation is strong or weak, it all depends on this life. It is absolutely impossible to use faith as an excuse for laziness and a means of exploitation. Staring at the young man opposite him, he was calm and composed, showing no hint of hypocrisy. After a long time, the eyes of the real person with long eyebrows gradually calmed down. He was sure that the other party was not lying. Although there is no basis in reality, the spiritual perception of monks is often more accurate. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 700. Chapter 682, I ride a bull, the power of a god. Although I should be happy with your generosity and compassion, I will still fight this last battle. After saying that, he quickly took the lead with both hands. In an instant, a spiritual light flew out from the back of his head and turned into a scroll. This scroll is 2 feet and 3 inches long, as thick as an adult's elbow, tied with a red rope, and surrounded by purple air. Chang Mei Genren's fingertips changed. The red rope automatically untied and the scroll unfolded. A slightly ancient picture, 5 feet long and 3 feet wide, appeared. The painting depicts a vigorous old man with a bright head, sitting cross-legged on the back of a green bull with a flat horn. Next to him was a slightly fat Taoist boy wearing a purple robe, holding a green ox in one hand and carrying a green bamboo pole in the other. A gourd and a futon were hung behind the bamboo pole. The Taoist boy looked calm, and his eyes showed a majesty that was inconsistent with his age. There are cascading green mountains on both sides. Between the 2 tall mountains in the distance, a towering guancheng stands. The 2 seals of Hang can be vaguely seen above the city gate. Looking at the entire painting shrouded in purple energy and the indescribable aura on the old man's body, the Dragon Emperor understood instantly. I'm leaving Hang Pass in the west. After giving him a faint look, Ren Xiao formed a seal with his hands and spoke in a very respectful tone. Ren Xiao, the disciple of the immeasurable heavenly Lord of blessings, loyalty, filial piety, and bravery, respectfully invites the taking moral heavenly Lord, Tais Hang Laozi, and Azu, to bestow the supreme power of subduing demons. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw a faint purple energy falling from the painting and blending into Ren Xiao's body. In an instant, Master Chen Mei's magic power increased rapidly like a volcano erupting. In just a moment, they reached the peak of Xianxian. Bang sound. The barrier in the dark world was broken through, and vast mana blossomed. A heavy pressure that made the Dragon Emperor feel heavy came over his heart. Looking at Ren Xiao, who had completely become a golden immortal, the Dragon Emperor's pupils tightened. God beats. Su Junming also once practiced Guandi divine fighting, so he is very familiar with this Taoist method. Therefore, when Ren Xiao formed the seal, he recognized it. But he didn't expect that what he borrowed was actually the magic power of Tais Hang Laozi, one of the clones of taking Daodi Tianzun. Seeing the Chenmei master's mana increasing day by day, a trace of worry appeared on the Dragon Emperor's face. If the opponent's cultivation level can enter the Tai realm, then he will definitely lose this battle. However, even if Master Chenmei borrowed my magic power, he still had to abide by the rules of the divine fighting technique. His physical body obviously cannot bear the powerful magic power of the Tai realm, not even the late Golden Immortal. Even so, the Dragon Emperor was still having trouble coping. After all, there is a huge difference in cultivation between the 2 parties. The only thing that made him feel relieved was that the low-grade innate spiritual treasure Ziying sword was taken away by his great 5 elements divine light. Otherwise, if the other party uses such a treasure, it will be even harder for him to win. Feeling the unprecedented powerful magic power in his body, the lost confidence of Master Chenmei returned a lot. Now is the last battle between you and me. Regardless of victory or defeat, I, Imei, will give up my position as the leader of the righteous path in this world. Although his mana increased hundreds of times, Chenmei did not completely lose his cool. The improvement brought about by the picture of Laozi riding a bull is only temporary. In addition to the 3 masters and 5 virtues true monarch, Chongshan Academy also has a stronger Chongshan true monarch Su Junming. Therefore, no matter how he fights, he will lose in the end. It's better to be a bachelor, so that he can let go. Of course, the most important thing is that he wants a promise from Chongshan Academy. Of course, the Dragon Emperor understood the hidden meaning in his words. He had no intention of destroying Imei, so he nodded simply. Because the Qingyang sword was lost, only Changmei Jinren, who was destined to use the Zi Yang sword, was activated. In an instant, the vast purple sword energy rushed straight towards the Dragon Emperor like the Yangtze River. The latter looked solemn, and when he activated the 5 elements divine light, the vast 5-color light flew into the sky like a volcano erupting. As soon as the 2 sides touched, the great 5 elements divine light swallowed the purple sword energy silently. Although he was surprised by the tyranny of this divine light, Chenmei Jinren, who was pressed for time, had no intention of stopping. Swish! He slashed out 9 swords in a row. The mighty sword energy was like rolling waves, hitting him one after another. The Dragon Emperor, who understood the essence of the divine fighting art, was no longer stingy with his magic power, and activated the 5 elements of divine light. The soul-falling clock appeared above the head. Although this top-quality fairy weapon had the strongest opponent of soul-falling power, it was made of gold and iron and was extremely hard. It also had strong defensive power. Dong dong dong. The giant black bell, which instantly turned into a 1,000-foot-long giant, collided fiercely with the purple-green sword energy of Master Changmei, and the mighty bell resounded throughout the formation space tens of thousands of miles around. A large earth-yellow gourd appeared above the Dragon Emperor's head. It was the Wutu gourd that he got from Su Junming. It is also a top-quality immortal weapon with 12 spiritual prohibitions. The overwhelming yellow sand rolled out and instantly condensed into a large hand thousands of feet in diameter. Captured from the sky with earth-shattering momentum. With a bang, the sword energy collapsed and turned into flowing fireflies. Except for the finale of the mid-grade innate spiritual treasure Mirror of the Void, the Dragon Emperor used all his methods. Master Chenmei was surprised that the other party actually had 2 top-quality immortal weapons. Judging from its power, even in the Lingkong immortal realm, it is definitely at the level of the treasure that comes to the door to suppress the sect. Where did this Chongshan Academy come from, and its foundation is so profound? The thought flashed and was thrown out of his mind. He was no longer allowed to think wildly. Holding the purple sun sword tightly in his hand, he looked at the flying yellow sand giant palm, the brilliant 5 elements divine light, and the black giant bell like a hill, and the fighting spirit in his eyes gradually became stronger. As the Chenmei Master and the Dragon Emperor began to fight without hesitation, the 4-elephant sword formation was formed, and the formation space that was tens of thousands of feet in size seemed to turn into a pot of hot porridge. Even if the 2 of them did not specifically target the sword formation, it was just the aftermath of the battle that made the 4-elephant sword formation shaky. Just when Zhuge Wolong, Gu Hong, Shi Sheng, and Huo Wuhe were sweating profusely, it became increasingly difficult to hold on. A Taoist wearing a coquettish red Taoist robe, lying on a white cloud, holding a green gourd and having drunken eyes, appeared above the formation. Uncle 5th Master. 5th Master. The 4 people became excited instantly. Haha, kids, don't worry, don't worry. After waving his fat right hand, he waved his left hand, and a black stream of light flew into the formation. In an instant, countless large and small black vortexes covered the entire formation space. All the aftermath of the fight was torn apart by this black whirlpool, swallowed like noodles. The 4 people instantly felt that the overwhelming impact that they could not resist had just disappeared. Thank you so much, 5th Master Uncle, Master. After burping from wine and waving to the 4 people, he held his fat head in his right hand and watched the fighting in the formation with interest. If you have wine to drink and movies to watch, this is life. Chinmay Genren, who has keen senses, instantly discovered the changes in the formation. Looking at the black holes stacked on top of each other and emitting an astonishing devouring aura, I deliberately tested their power. After forcing the Dragon Emperor back with several swords, he slashed out with 3 swords in a row. The mighty sword energy was like falling from the sky, flying toward the sword array overwhelmingly. Ugh, is this guy still causing trouble for me? Tai Zhenjun waved his hand, and countless black holes quickly gathered outside the formation, turning into 3 huge holes of 100 feet in an instant. 3 sword energy flew into it and disappeared silently. What? Master Chinmay's heart trembled. The tyranny of this black hole was far beyond his expectation. Tai Zhenjun saw his expression in his eyes, and a slightly proud smile appeared on his fat face. Since devouring the body of the demonic falling flag, his natal magical power has taken a further step, reaching the perfect state of the ultimate immortal weapon. The power far exceeds the magic sword in the palm of the long-browed person. Speaking of cultivation, Tai Zhenjun, who survived the catastrophe, was a genuine early-stage golden immortal, not much different from Chinmay, who was promoted to the middle-stage golden immortal stage through divine blows. Since the magic power and immortal weapons are above Chinmay, there is certainly no reason to be inferior to him. Seeing this scene in his eyes, the Dragon Emperor raised his eyebrows. The fiery fighting spirit instantly cooled down. Feeling the remaining mana in his dantian, after a moment's hesitation, he prepared to activate the Void Mirror to end the fight. Unexpectedly, before he was ready to take action, an oval-shaped black brick instantly appeared behind the head of the real person with long eyebrows. Boom! The sound of flesh and blood made the calm Dragon Emperor on the opposite side also have his eyelids jump. Changmei Genren was even knocked over by the black bricks. Before he could recover, the black tiles were photographed again. Bang bang, twice in a row. The aura of Chinmeijin's body was like a deflated rubber ball, quickly fading. His face turned pale and he fell instantly. Master! When Qi Shuming and others in Ningbai Cliff Cave saw this scene, they felt anxious and flew out quickly. As a result, before they could take Chinmay back to Ningbai Cliff Cave Heaven, a green divine light fell from the sky and instantly took them and Ningbai Cliff Cave Heaven in. After doing this, the Dragon Emperor looked up with a cold expression. Lao Wu, you have crossed the line. Hee hee. Accompanied by laughter, the figure of true Lord Tai appeared in the middle of the formation. With a wave of his hand, black bricks flew into his palm. After throwing it away casually, a satisfied smile appeared on the fat face. Not to mention, after K was trained by this deity, his power increased nearly 100 times, and it is even easier to use. After Su Junming destroyed more than 100,000 Buddha cultivators in Tianzulanduo Temple with one palm, he refined their magical weapons into materials, and used Renwuji's demon-suppressing golden circle, Dragon Emperor's soul-destroying bell, Ao Tian's human emperor sword and Tai Zhenjun's Li Gui has all been trained into the best immortal weapons. In order to give full play to Ligi's role, he also engraved space restrictions on Ligi. As long as it is raised, this baby can instantly appear behind the enemy's head across space and hit a brick directly. Anyone without a self-defense weapon or insufficient cultivation will be defeated instantly. After touching it lovingly, he put away the magic weapon that suited his taste. Hey, third child. You feel comfortable fighting? Since you plan to thoroughly understand this fighting method, my Keiko is better than your Void God realm. Besides, I'm helping you, so you should thank me. With a cold snort, the Dragon Emperor waved his sleeves, put away the 4-elephant sword formation, and looked at Zhuge Wolong and the others. Let's go. The 4 of them nodded, bowed, and saluted Lord Tai, and then left with their master. Watching them leave with a smile, and after looking around at the people watching the battle, Taizhenjun lay on his back on the white clouds and slowly flew away. Looking at Mount Imei, which had regained its calm, Li Jingxiu sighed. Imei, it's over. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 701. Chapter 683, Zi Mansion Secret Code, Tai Ching Secret Code. Call. Su Junming let out a long sigh. Next to them, Renwuji, Dragon Emperor, Ao Tian and Taizhenjun opened their eyes at the same time. Looking at the picture of I riding a bull in the middle, a touch of joy appeared on the faces of several people. Renwuji was especially excited. This is really a big gain. Several people nodded in agreement. Although this picture of Laozi riding a bull seems to be just a painting, it contains a Taoist meaning of infinite yin and yang. It is naturally of great help to Renwuji who practices yin and yang. Compared to Su Junming, Dragon Emperor, Ao Tian, and Taizhenjun, although they did not gain as much as Renwuji, the secret book of the Purple Mansion hidden in this painting is indeed the real Tai secret book. Moreover, it is a supreme magical power that directly points to the Tai Golden Immortal and is in line with the Taking Dao. This is the third secret book that everyone has obtained after the book of the Zhuolong family, the Sutra of the Tathagata of Many Treasures and the secret book of the Purple Mansion that directly points to the Tai realm. More importantly, this is a Taoist secret book. The most rare thing is that the secret manual of Zifu is a secret biography of taking. Within Zhou Tian, there are probably few Tai realm techniques that can be more profound than it. With its help, coupled with the Many Treasures Tathagata Sutra, and with the help of the Danshan Bronze Mirror, Su Junming can completely understand a secret scripture of Chongshan Tai realm that is at least equivalent to it. Therefore, this is a great harvest. I really don't know who made this painting. It not only has the charm of taking Laozi, attracting the purple energy surrounding the sky, but also contains a secret biography of taking, Renwuji said. You can tell by looking at the content of this painting. I went west to Han Valley, transformed a tiger into a Buddha, and the person who was riding the cow was none other than Taoist Duobao, who was once the direct successor of the Ji sect, said the Dragon Emperor. Renwuji looked at the Morning Bull Taoist boy, whose eyes were full of majesty, completely opposite to his immature appearance, and nodded slowly. Of course it is impossible for Tai's Hang Laozi to paint himself, otherwise this painting would never be more powerful than it is now. Only Taoist Duobao best fits the identity of the author. Moreover, he accompanied Laozi on his journey to Hang in the West and often listened to his sermons by his side, so he really understood taking Taoism. It's a pity that there is no secret biography of the supreme purity in it. Su Junming sighed secretly in his heart. Strictly speaking, the technique that laid the foundation for his practice was the Shangqing Daidong Sutra, so the most suitable method was naturally the Shangqing technique. He stretched out his hand and the scroll flew into his hand. Mana held it and flew towards Ao Tian. Give this back to Ren Xiao. Aren't you going to stay? Ao Tian finally asked. The cause and effect is too big to be kept in our hands. And we have already figured out the secret hidden in this painting, so it doesn't matter whether we keep it in our hands or not. After Ao Tian nodded, are you really ready to let Master Chenmei and the Imei sect go? Let them serve in the Emperor's Tower for 500 years, and then let them go free. Although it is suspected of letting the tiger return to the mountain, in the world of Chongshan, no matter how strong he is, he will not be able to overturn the sky. The way of heaven in the world of Chongshan is Ao Tian, no matter how strong it is, it cannot be compared to the heaven and earth where it lives. And he also needs the Imei sect to act as a qualified catfish so that the dominant Chongshan Academy will not fall into a complacent situation. Ao Tian nodded and said, okay, the matter is over, I will go back, you three can handle the rest. After the words fell, the figure gradually disappeared. Ren Wuji also walked away with him. Both of them are soul projections and have limited power in the Shushan world. Let's go. Su Junming, Dragon Emperor, and Tai Zhenjun left Chongshan residence in Tianwai Shenshan Mountain and instantly arrived at the 9 heavens of Shushan world. Looking at the mighty clouds below, he opened his left palm, and a black and white spiritual talisman, blooming with infinite yin and yang divine light, slowly emerged. The innate chi-taking magic talisman. A top-quality immortal weapon that completes the 12 immortal prohibitions. It is also the location of the formation diagram of the Lianji dust formation. This treasure is made from a piece of innate yin-yang spiritual jade, which contains several innate Taishi yin-yang fundamental qi. With Su Junming's weapon refining methods, it is completely possible to refine a Tai immortal treasure. However, in the Zhongqian world, except for innate spiritual treasures, Tai immortal treasures that exceed the rules are not allowed to appear, so even if they are refined, it will be difficult to maintain the grade. Su Junming didn't bother anymore. The magical power holds the innate chi-taking magic talisman, and the 6 clones each hold the Liuhe flag gate and fly to the 6 directions of the upper, lower, east, west, south, and north of the Shushan world. After the 6th clone was in place, Su Junming activated the innate chi-taking magic talisman, and the mighty aura shone for thousands of miles. The 6 flag gates suddenly felt emotional. In an instant, the infinite forbidden spiritual light connected with each other and turned into a huge formation that surrounded the entire Shushan world. The disillusionment of life and death, the dim and bright dust formation. That's not all. The Dragon Emperor took out a 4-foot-long purple sword box and threw it in the air. The sword box was strong in the wind, and instantly turned into a giant array covering thousands of miles, flashing in 4 colors, red, yellow, green, and black. At the same time, the 4 sword lights turned into gigantic giant swords tens of thousands of miles away, covering all directions. 4 elephants sword formation. After Tai Zhenjun took a sip of wine, he patted the gourd on his waist, and a large black iron umbrella slowly flew out. This black umbrella flew higher and higher, flew bigger, and gradually became a giant of thousands of miles. The giant umbrella opened, and the 8 umbrella ribs turned into 8 giant gates, surrounding the world of Shushan in the middle. Innate Bagua array. 3 large formations were set up, and countless forbidden spiritual lights flew out of the hands of the 3 people. Under the control of the 3 people, with Su Junming as the leader, Dragon Emperor, and Tai Zhenjun as the assistants, the 3 formations slowly merged, forming a huge formation covering 30 million miles and sealing the entire Shushan world in the middle. Slowly taking shape. In an instant, all the top monks in the Shushan world were keenly aware of the changes in the outside world. Although I couldn't explain it clearly, there was a depressing feeling that could not be calmed down for a long time. It's done. Su Junming's face showed a hint of joy. In the future, those who ascend in Shushan world will go to Chongshan world instead of Lingkong immortal world. This large array is embedded with a cross-border teleportation array. Whenever someone wants to ascend, it will open and send the person to the world of Chongshan. Is it worth spending so much effort for a world of 20 million miles, said the Dragon Emperor. Don't underestimate Shushan world. Although its area is not as large as Zhongqian world, it is adjacent to Lingkong immortal world and can be regarded as half of Zhongqian world. Therefore, there are many talented people with outstanding qualifications. Incorporate them into Chongshan world in advance. The better our management system, the sooner we can make it become the foundation for our growth. Compared with this, the consumption of maintaining these 3 formations is nothing. If you were allowed to sit here, you wouldn't say this, the Dragon Emperor snorted coldly. Su Junming smiled lightly and said nothing. According to the original plan, he and Tai Zhenjun went to the Lingkong fairyland, and he was temporarily in charge here. Wait until one of the 2nd-generation disciples of Chongshan reaches the level of Xianxian, and then take over his class. Haha, third child. That baby Shaoxin has already reached the late stage of true immortal. He will be able to advance to Xian immortal in a short time. You won't be waiting here for too long. Tai Zhenjun smiled after taking a sip of wine. Having said that, it won't be long, at least hundreds of years. In that case, why don't you stay here while I go to the Lingkong immortal realm? Hey, this won't work. Your cultivation level is too low. It's better to go to dangerous places like the Spirit Sky immortal realm later. The Dragon Emperor raised his eyebrows. I really want to smash your fat face now. Haha, let's wait until you reach the golden immortal level. Okay, Su Junming stopped the two of them with a headache, and took out a porcelain bottle from the green gourd. Lao San, this is my newly refined Tian Huang pill. With its help, even if you don't go to the Lingkong immortal world, your cultivation level can also be improved quickly. The Dragon Emperor's expression softened and he took the elixir. My dear, this is unfair. Everyone is Dharmakaya. Why don't I have Tian Huang pill? The next furnace is yours, let's go. He raised the light and disappeared in an instant. After Imei was cleared, Chongshan Academy dominated the Shushan world, and no one dared to provoke it. Therefore, it also embarked on the path of rapid expansion. 100 years have passed, and the lower courtyard of Chongshan Academy has been opened in every densely populated corner of the Shushan world, covering nearly 100 billion people in this world. Chang'an General Hospital has 1,198 upper courtyards in the south and the north, 33,917 middle courtyards, and 1,196,872 lower courtyards. Nearly 100 million disciples study in the academy every year. After completing the layout of the academy, he also indirectly controlled the abolition of the human dynasty. As more and more disciples receive academy education, the concept of Shushan world practice becomes more and more popular, and men and women become more and more equal, gradually turning into a new society that integrates ancient behavioral norms and modern concepts. Under the pressure of Chongshan Academy, Wuodane, Kunlun and other sects also began to reform, using the academy system to train disciples and select the best from the best. Those sects that cling to the inheritance of master and apprentice are increasingly declining. The general trend of the world is moving forward, and the conservative and rigid existence will be eliminated. The same goes for spiritual practice. Time passed little by little, and after occupying the destiny of Chongshan world, Su Junming's cultivation level took a further step. It's time to go to the Lingkong fairyland. After deliberately calling all his disciples and giving instructions on some chores, he took True Lord Tai out of the Shushan world. As mentioned earlier, the Shushan world and the Lingkong immortal world are like a big gourd, connected to each other. Therefore, going to the Lingkong immortal realm is not about ascending to other realms, but crossing over. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 702. Su Junming and Tai Zhenjun came to the junction of the 2 days and instantly sensed a powerful formation. Interesting, this formation is not harmful to monks above true immortals, but monks in the immortal realm below true immortals can be captured in an instant. Unless they have a heavy treasure, they can't escape, Tai Zhenjun said after taking a sip of wine. Su Junming nodded slightly. He heard Zhao Wuji, the giant tree god, say that monks who ascended from the lower world and were not true immortals would be moved by the transverse formation at the junction of the 2 days to the immortal platform below the Yellow Emperor's immortal courtyard. If they had high merits, they would only need to. He left a list in the immortal court, entered the immortal book, and then let him go. However, they must obey the call of the Yellow Emperor's immortal court. Once the immortal court encounters a war, they must be the vanguard for the emperor. If you are an earthly immortal with insufficient merit, you will not only have to leave an immortal status, but you will also need to serve as a strongman in heaven. In fact, you will be a slave. When you reach your age, or when your cultivation reaches a high level, you will be free. Therefore, many earthly immortals in the Shushan world who are clearly capable of ascension would rather stay in the lower realm, relying on thin spiritual energy to survive little by little, rather than ascend. They are all people who are accustomed to paying homage to their ancestors. Who wants to be a slave in the upper world and be ordered around by others? There are only those zombie immortals who became enlightened from other sects, similar to the Golden Needle Virgin who borrowed half of the old nun's Qingyu sword to ascend from the corpse in the original work, Grandma Hung Hua of Fuxiantan, and even Ling Hun's master Jushin Genren and Han Xian's father De Ming real person Han Xiao and others. It means ascending to the peak of soul or perfect cultivation. The reason why they are willing is because it is embarrassing to be a slave in the fairy court. But as long as they enter the Huangdi Immortal Court, they will receive the cultivation techniques issued by the Immortal Court, which are no less than the authentic Suanmen section. With the help of the abundant spiritual energy of the Immortal Court, they can easily stabilize their souls, retrain their immortal bodies, and in the shortest time within a short period of time, improve your cultivation level. By building the foundation with the authentic methods of Suanmen, their foundation will be deeper, and their hope of overcoming the catastrophe in the future will naturally be greater. Ascension, for the casual cultivators of different sects, is the right path to enlightenment. For tens of thousands of years, the Yellow Emperor's immortal court has relied on these monks who have continuously ascended, and has accumulated 3,000 immortal officials in 6 divisions and 9 divisions, as well as tens of thousands of heavenly soldiers and generals, to suppress the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain and shock the world. Although the number is small, these are all immortals. Any one of them is a fairy. Among them, there are existences at the level of Golden Immortal, Mysterious Immortal, and True Immortal. Of course, Su Junming didn't need to think about this, the formation in front of him couldn't stop him. With a wave of his hand, accompanied by mysterious spatial fluctuations, a space channel instantly appeared in front of the formation. Let's go. Tai Zhenjun laughed haha, urged Baiun to sit down, and flew in after him. After crossing the formation and traveling through 9 days, a huge world spanning 390 million miles appeared in front of us. It is indeed the Chixian Shenzhou of the Zhongqian world, but its aura is nearly 100 times richer than that of the Shushan world. No wonder it is called the spiritual world. However, it is still inferior to the newly opened Chongshan world, which is 1 billion miles in length and breadth. However, although Chongshan world is powerful, it does not have that many high-level monks, and its background is much inferior. My dear, according to the original plan, I will go to Jiangnan first. Su Junming nodded. Although they knew a lot about Chixian China, most of them were told by others and were not detailed enough. The most urgent thing is to understand it personally. Remember to notify me in time if anything happens. Haha, don't worry. As soon as Bai Yun sat down, Tai Zhenjun drank wine and slowly flew forward. His demeanor was leisurely and lazy, as if he was not here to practice but to take a vacation. Su Junming sighed. He really couldn't imitate Tai Zhenjun's attitude. There is no blind choice of direction. Spreading his left hand, the secret divine ball slowly emerged. Under his urging, the divine ball rotated rapidly and quickly pointed out a direction for Su Junming. Is the direct west the most auspicious place? That's it. As soon as he took a step, his figure disappeared instantly. Under the guidance of the heavenly orb, after Su Junming crossed the boundless sea, the vast world of red dust was getting closer and closer before his eyes. Gradually, the coast comes into view. It's just that after entering the land, it's not a big city, but a few fishing villages, and the mountains in the distance. Su Junming found a quiet and uninhabited place to drop his clouds. He stretched out his left hand and took the green bamboo stick that had been with him for many years in his right hand. He used the sealing talisman to seal his magic power and aura, adjusted his Taoist robes, pretended to be a wandering Taoist priest, and followed the path down the mountain. After a short time, he came to a fairly wide mountain road. Jingle. The clear ringing of bells was mixed with people shouting and horses neighing, and a team of escorts with swords in hand drove a carriage out from the corner of the mountain road. Seeing Su Junming, the man walking in front was stunned for a moment and raised the golden tiger escort flag in his hand. The golden tiger roars to Dong Chuan, the golden tiger roars to Dong Chuan, please friends from Jianghu to the streets, please friends from Jianghu to the streets. Su Junming smiled in surprise, feeling that he was regarded as Lu Lin from Jidao. Seeing the other party's vigilant look, Su Junming didn't explain much. He took a step forward and walked 100 steps in an instant, slowly walking further and further away. The middle-aged man who was sitting on the horse with a ghost-headed sword on his back showed a dignified expression when he saw this scene. It seems that he is a Taoist priest who has practiced cultivation. Brother, the dirty things on Xiao Liuzi are still causing trouble, why don't you ask him to take a look? The one who spoke was a bodyguard who was holding a long sword and sitting on a tall horse. The man with the knife slapped his thigh and said, "Oh, why did I forget this? Lu Laokai, come here." A man in fine clothes also had a long knife stuck in his back and walked forward. "Chief Escort, what are your orders?" "Quickly, ride a horse to catch up with the Taoist priest who just left. You must keep him, but you must not be rude." "As commanded." "Go quickly." Lu Laokai squeezed the horse's belly with his legs, sat down, and the yellow gelding neighed, spread its hooves, and chased after him along the mountain road at lightning speed. Su Junming, who had just come to Lingkong Fairyland for the first time and was just looking for news, rarely had the desire to travel around, so he couldn't walk very fast. It didn't take long before I heard footsteps getting closer and closer behind me. "Please stay ahead, Master Taoist." Looking at the galloping horse, Su Junming thought for a moment and then stopped. "Zilulu." The escort pulled the reins, and the yellow gelding raised its front hooves high. The bodyguard, who showed off his superb riding skills, dismounted from his horse, took 2 steps forward and bowed to salute. Lu Laokai, the bodyguard of the Golden Tiger Escort Bureau, pays homage to the Taoist priest. After Su Junming gave a warning, Lu Jushi Pegasus is chasing Pandeo. "Is there something urgent?" "Our chief bodyguard specifically told me that Wuobi wants me to catch up with the Taoist master. As for the specific matter, I would like to ask the Taoist master to wait for a while. We will find out the answer when we meet our chief bodyguard chief." Seeing that he was polite and respectful, his tone was respectful. Su Junming didn't just leave. Not long after, the escort team we had seen before came over in a hurry. Not far behind the waiter, a strong man with a sword riding on a tall black horse came 10 steps away from Su Junming and dismounted. "General Escort Chief." Patting Lu Laokai's shoulder, the strong man with the sword quickly swept over the Taoist opposite and bowed to salute. "Han Bachan, the chief escort of the Golden Tiger Escort Agency, has met with the Taoist master." Su Junming looked at it for a moment. Although Han Bachan was not a monk, his qi and blood were extremely strong. He was already a perfect innate body-refining monk who was on the verge of breaking through the golden elixir realm of martial arts. However, this does not mean how good his qualifications are. In a place with rich spiritual energy like the Lingkong immortal world, the physical constitution of the creatures is better than that of the mortals in the small thousand world. When a middle-aged person is innately perfect, he is obviously below average. Just capital. I've seen Layman Han. I just asked the bodyguard to call Pandeo. What's the matter? Don't be surprised, Taoist master. Just now, Han saw that the Taoist master had a step of tens of feet, and his celestial figure was fluttering. It was obvious that he was an outsider with exquisite Taoism. Then he had the courage to ask his bodyguard to call out to the Taoist master. I hope that the Taoist master will give him some help. Miao Xiao, save my brother. After all, bow to the end. although the bodyguard who came with him also quickly bowed and saluted. When I look at it in a bronze mirror, I can see no trace of injustice. Since you are saving people, can you let me take a look first? This is natural, Taoist master, please. Han Bachen's face was full of joy, and he quickly led Su Junming to a carriage behind the team, jumped on it, and opened the thick brown curtain. Before Su Junming could get in, a stinky smell that made people frown could already be heard. He held his breath, jumped on the carriage and looked inside. In the carriage, lying on the thick bedding, was a strange man wearing human clothes, but covered with black hair all over his body, like an orangutan. That stinky smell came from his body. Taoist priest, please look, this is my sixth brother. 7 days ago, he was a good-natured person like me. But for some unknown reason, 3 days ago, black hair of this size suddenly started to grow all over his body, and he fell into a coma. I walked all the way and asked famous doctors to treat him along the way, but there was nothing we could do. Later, we met a Taoist priest at Suanyu Temple in Wulai Town. He told us that this was the work of an evildoer and that we needed to use immortal magic to remove it. Only by releasing the demonic energy can one be cured. I asked him to take action, but he refused and said that his cultivation level was too low to cure my sixth brother, so we asked another expert. In desperation, we set off on the road, preparing to go to the Taoist temple in Fukan, Dongchuan. However, in the past 3 days, I have seen that my sixth brother has more and more black hair on his body and his figure is getting thinner. I feel really uneasy. God is so pitiful that I encountered a Taoist priest wandering here on the road, so I boldly stopped him and asked him, I hope the Taoist master will be merciful and save my sixth brother. Su Junming nodded slightly. Let me take a look first. Yes, Taoist priest, please take a look. Han Bachen quickly got out of the way. As soon as the bronze mirror was activated, all the secrets in this man's body were no longer hidden. In the heart of his chest, a triangular green rune shines brightly. Su Junming could clearly sense the traces of evil energy emanating from it without having to comprehend it. Sure enough, it's a monster causing trouble. The bamboo stick touched the man's chest, and the runes in his heart slowly floated out. After a brief introspection, I understood the purpose of Yao Wenwen. With a flick of his finger, the rune shed a ray of green light, and when it touched the man, the thick black hair on the latter's body slowly disappeared. A young man with pale face, high cheekbones and weak breath appeared in front of him. His eyelids trembled slightly, and the man slowly opened his eyes. Brother. Sixth brother, are you awake? It's great. Han Bachen looked excited, and all his worries for many days turned into joy at this moment. Fortunately, many years of escorting career have made him far more stable than ordinary people. Even though I was happy, I did not forget the heroes. He quickly cupped his fists and saluted Su Junming. Thank you, Taoist priest, for saving my sixth brother's life. Han Bachen is grateful. Su Junming waved his hand and temporarily sealed the demonic writing and put it away. Don't rush to thank me, this matter is not over yet.